We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.
Oh, yes, bitches.
Whoa ho hee ha ho ha hee.
Aha. Fuck we are, man.
Welcome everybody. It is what the fuck's the date today? It's 24th of June,
Yup,
2023. This is the Nothing Sacred Drunken Sacred Drink Wrap, or the partially drunken sacred drink wrap, or whatever the fuck it is. I'm Cruise Control.
I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
I'm Louie Lope.
I'm Koala.
Yes,
And I'm here
Yes,
today.
she's here tonight. She's here. Oh, damn.
Yes, welcome Koala. Welcome back to the fold. Unfortunately, there's some tension now because of some stuff said before the show. So,
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Now you're making a big deal out of nothing.
well, no, I was just
There's
gonna say
tension.
that Koala wouldn't admit that she's a tough bitch.
Well,
In a
You
good
know?
way. Seriously, that's what my mom said. My mom even said that. She goes, you know what? Don't worry about me, Cruz. I'm a tough bitch. I was like, okay.
That's right.
All
See,
right.
that's what I'm
nothing
trying
wrong with being a tough bitch, you know?
No,
I think
heck
that's
no.
cool. I think it's
to.
cool.
Heck no.
She's pretty awesome, actually. I'm talking about Koala, by the way. Welcome back, Koala.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
actually,
Good to be here.
there was just to let you know, just so that you don't get aggro anymore. you were like a missing piece of the puzzle. So
Yeah, it was kind of strange without you. I will say that.
It doesn't feel right. It doesn't. It's not.
Yeah.
not
I
this-
listened to it. It was I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
Well, it might have been good, but it was missing a piece.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't know what the heck, because I tried to come on
Mhm.
and it wouldn't. Anyway, just yeah.
It
Just,
was some
you know,
corporate-
mechanical
Yeah,
stuff.
and it was one of those days though where you were like, probably like, fuck it.
Well, I thought you just finished early because there was nothing. Because normally I can hear you guys, and there
Yeah.
was no audio at all. And I thought, all right, and
Don't
I did.
worry,
I just said,
Koala.
fuck it.
None of us are known for finishing early.
Oh, okay.
And scene. No.
Yeah, check please.
I was laughing, but I was on mute.
Oh.
Oh, we can still hear you.
Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight out there and in here?
Good.
I'm
Good.
up and down roller coaster ride of life.
Well, you know,
Roller coaster.
my up and down is continuing. You know, with the thing with my leg, I'm pretty sure you guys are interested about that and what's
Uh-oh.
happening. So
What the hell isn't it completely healed by now?
here's the deal. All right, and I think I kind of had something to do with this. I went in like 2 weeks before, and the nurse was saying, it's always looking really good, and by next week, if the doctor wants to make you wear the wrap, I'll back you up. You shouldn't have to do that anymore. So I said, oh man, so I got to put it on today. She was like, yeah, we got to put it on today, unfortunately. So I'm like, oh fuck. I was hoping to shower normally, soon.
Mhm.
And she's going, yeah, well, you can. And I'm like, what? And she said, yeah, there's a thing called a cast cover that you can use in the shower. You put it over your cast, you secure it with rubber bands or tape or something, and it's supposed to keep water off and out of your cast. So I went and I guess they have them at CVS and Walgreens and all those places. So I went and got one. Now the one I got was actually it was the pediatric one. It was a little smaller, but they said it should work. And I'm like, okay, fuck. So I'm all excited. I put it on. I did this for like 4 days, and I was kind of noticing when I took it off, I tried to roll it down so the excess water would roll out of there and all that shit. But even when I took it off, I kind of noticed my cast was a little wet. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So the next week I went back. That's when the doctor said something about, oh, well, you're not fully healed yet. You still got some hematoma in there. And I'm like, what? And then she's like, yeah, let's try to see if we can work it out. Let's, so she's trying to, drain some of it out, whatever. The next week I went back, which was Wednesday, And she said, yeah, there's definitely hematoma. It's hard, So they did this really aggressive procedure where they got in there with this laser and some spray shit. It was pretty. They even had to local anesthesia, to do, where they numb the area so they could work. And boy, it was a pretty wild thing. I was there for like an hour getting that done. And when I left, I was after it wore off, it like hurt to walk. I was like limping. And
have they offered you compression boots? Like not like, or they maybe to use them or borrow them, air pressure compression boots.
Nobody's ever talked to me about. You have.
Okay, yeah, because they should have offered you that, because if it's that what's going on now, is it's not just a local. I mean, the infection is local. It's not systemic, but it's affecting your foot and it will affect your gait, like you're saying, it hurt to walk. So it's going to start to be something where I would suggest asking about that, because that's going to be a problem with the lymphatic system, which is it's not dire, but it's going to slow down your recovery. So something like Normatex, we put them on athletes. I use them I actually use them myself just in general. Well, I have access to them, so I'm a little spoiled, but just because I'm on my feet all day, I use them, and it's pretty incredible. But a lot of times with wound care, especially with things that aren't healing right, that's something that they can sometimes offer. Problem is, you're young. They're usually only offering them to either
older people or
old people, or you go to a clinic like where I work,
relatively young.
You get them. Yeah. I mean, you get I'm talking like more the geriatric population.
Gotcha.
But I mean, I have them, so it's part of the treatments that I offer. But they are, you don't want to buy them, because they're going to run you. They're going to run you about $800.
Damn. Oh, they're expensive. Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think, because this is my personal theory, it was doing great, it was healing, it was good, everything was good until I did the thing with the shower cast.
How did you fasten the
rubber bands? I put like 6 rubber bands on that bitch.
Yeah, it's the worst way to do it. So what you want to do is, I don't know why she said rubber bands. You would want to do something like a kinesio tape, and then make sure you have extra insulation, like with I mean, you want to really tape it. So you want to do like almost an occlusion wrap with garbage bags around the cast, so that nothing leaks in.
That sounds.
Then you can fasten it.
That sounds majorly complicated. I think I'm just going to do what I've been doing, which now I shower, in the front bathroom here. I can put my leg outside of the tub, my left leg. Then I can still get under the water and use the, shave.
Yeah, because rubber bands aren't going to allow, they're going to allow things to leak in. And then with the cast, which you had, was the water gets even just a little bit in there, but it's not enough to drain out. And so then that causes the bacteria, especially with warmer water, it'll actually, it'll
see. Question. The first question, though, that we didn't ask before is, I'm drinking water.
Oh, what we're drinking? That's okay. I'm drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, of course.
Of course.
I was thinking the same thing, so I was like waiting for it to happen.
yeah. I'm drinking water. So we got the Pabst. And what do you got there, Koala?
I'm back on my IPAs. I'm back on the IPAs.
On the loggies?
Yeah, I got to go back to the logs.
All right, and then of course we've got the caffeine kid over there.
What do you got there? Sprite?
Well, it's this time it might not be that much caffeine. It's Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar.
Oh,
zero sugar.
Right. Fancy.
Cheers, everybody. I'm drinking
cheers.
Water. So, now, continuing on.
So you do think that, because I really think that was the cause of that.
I don't think so. I'm disagreeing.
Well, why is that? Why do you say that?
Because they don't mention, because hematoma is not an infection. Is hematoma an infection? No.
It's not an infection. No, but it's
a hematoma is a bruise, but it can get infected.
Yeah, but they've told, like, the infection's been cleared for a while.
Yeah.
From what they say. So they're not saying anything about any kind of infection. So I don't see how the water getting in there could cause a hematoma.
Well, because it changes the lymphocyte production to the area. So
See,
it
that's
actually,
what I thought too. Like the blood
yeah.
goes there, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
It'll actually increase. So it's not, okay. So I wasn't really thorough in how I spoke about it, but what it does is it can increase that because it's going to create more warmth. And that's going to, when you're pressing, because it's not like a compression sock, a cast is like hard. Right. So when you've got a cast, it's not a gentle compression, which can actually ease that off the hematoma, but it's a hard compression, which blocks it so it can clog it more.
And this is kind of a soft cast. It's not hard like the cast you get when you break a bone or some shit like that. But it's
still hard enough.
Yeah, it's hard enough. Yes, it is. Yeah, definitely.
That's why you don't want to get water into, because it will increase the inflammation, not the infection. Sorry, it's the Lagunitas talking. The inflammation will increase.
Well, I think also though, because you have circulation issues in your feet already, in your legs, and I think that's the main culprit.
Well, and of course, that's probably definitely.
I know you might. I know we talked about this before. But a lot of it could be the nicotine.
Well, that or Vax. I think it's the Vax, dude.
See, that's the thing. You're trying. I'm gonna go psychologically on you, and I know exactly where Louie's going.
I'm listening to this. I'm listening.
You know exactly where I'm going with this too. You keep trying. I do. You kind of you're going no, not the nicotine. It's got to be the Vax. It's got to be the water. It's got to be this. It's got to be that.
But normally, I mean, hey, I've injured myself and I clear up real quick. I've stepped on shit, cut my foot.
What I'm really laughing at, we're not really laughing at, but kind of like enjoying here, is this this back and forth between friends that have known each other for years, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Cruz is trying to be like, kind of like, okay, I know I'm going to step on your toes here, but I got to say this because you need to hear it.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
And I know you're like, well, but I know how that is. You try to find reasons why you don't have to stop, why you have to change your behaviors that could be causing the issue. So it's like, well, it could be this, it could be that, but that nicotine constricts blood vessels and constricts circulation. And that probably one of the reasons why you have the leg, whatever the shit is on your feet, legs, is probably due to a little bit of the nicotine.
And it probably so.
So therefore, it makes common sense. It makes logical sense to me that because you're getting older, and because obviously it's issues that you can see people see it on your legs.
Right.
That is definitely a cause. Like, if you stopped, it would heal faster. I'm almost guaranteeing it. Now, that doesn't mean that other things can't be. And you say, well, I cut my foot. Like, when was the last time you really cut yourself and healed really fast?
Well, it's been. I'm not always cutting myself, but
right. When did you take a razor to your?
I slice my leg open every day.
No, my point. That's my point. It's like, oh well, I got a cut on my toe and it healed. That was what, 15 years ago? Yeah. Like.
And I realized I got circulation stuff, but it was healing. This thing was healing. I think it's the water getting in there is what exacerbated what happened there.
I'm sure it could have. But I don't. But then again, I wonder if like, is it? I don't know if this is the case or not. But if something's like close to being completely healed, like is it healed?
Well, the wound's still open. The wound was still open, so water got in there.
Yeah. So it can, and that's the thing,
especially Vegas water. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that the nicotine isn't a factor at all, but what I can say is, like, just treating a lot of people over the years. When you look at, wow, it was going great, and then there's this one thing I changed, and then it shifts. True. You do have to acknowledge that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he's been healing from this wound for like 3 months now, right?
Oh yeah, that's why he needs the compression boots. They really should be putting him on compression boots, because you just do it about 15-20 minutes a day. You elevate, and then it works your whole lymphatic system, because a lot of times with wounds, that hematomas or open, when things have been cut, we have to start, especially if you're having circulation issues, we have to work that whole lower area. And every time you walk around or sit at your desk or do anything else, you're dropping everything into a pooling state of the lymph and the blood into your lower extremities.
Yeah, and I do a lot of sitting at a desk, obviously, at work, you know.
And then the nicotine actually is a factor because with clients, I just treated one yesterday, and she gets leg issues, and I know, you know, and they're strange, and a lot of it has to do with. So I put her on the boots yesterday. I'm like, you may not want to do this, but we're not doing massage today. You're just going to be. I'm going to leave you alone. You're going to be on the boots for 20 minutes because you know it is what you need.
Well, that's not too bad. I mean, 15 to 20 minutes, huh? Just keep them.
It's actually great for me because then I just get to go and have a cup of coffee.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like, yeah.
Like, all right, that's why you did it. It's like, I need a cup of coffee. Oh, I want to put you no massage today. You're all
I think we really.
You're just all shitty in the morning, like, oh, fuck, I need coffee.
Put the boots on you.
Put the boots
Well,
on
you got to make sure the pressure is the right. You know, you can't just leave them alone right away, and you do have to check on them.
Yeah,
but no, it's a big thing. A lot of the NFL, you'll see them do it after games, and it's a huge thing. But it's really good for wound care. So they may not want to do that, but I mean, I'm a huge proponent. But yes, the nicotine is a factor. Anything that's a vasoconstrictor.
Right.
Is going to cause pooling in the lower extremities.
And by the way, it's chewing tobacco. It's not. I don't smoke.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to, because I've heard that, you know, the tar is worse than smoking, and
the tar is bad for your lungs.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lung thing, but the nicotine is the vasoconstrictor. The nicotine is
the actual nicotine. Yeah, and you're right. Yeah. So
and we have nicotine in our brains already that gets released, and that's one reason that the desire gets stronger when people drink is it lowers your natural nicotine production. And so you start going, oh, that's why I want to, that's why you get the people that, I only smoke when I drink.
You know, I've always wondered about that because I've heard, I mean, obviously I've experienced it myself, but, other people have said, this friend of my mom's was saying that. She was like, it's just a match made in heaven when you're drinking and then you have a cigarette and, so yeah, I know what's up.
And that's also drinking itself. I know.
Here we go. He's like the ex smoker. We shouldn't smoke. It's bad for you. I did it for 30 years.
Well, it does affect.
But just also know that you and Cruz have been friends longer than anybody on this podcast right here. Right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So you know damn well that he's looking at you. Right?
Yeah.
He's not just giving you bullshit just to give you bullshit.
Oh, I know he's not. He's not. It's just shit I don't want to hear.
And I am very aware of the preaching stuff of people who don't do something anymore. And getting all fucking high and mighty about, which is one of the worst things. I can't fucking stand that shit myself. And I'm not trying to. That's why I walk the line carefully. Like that's why I'm like, right. Because I don't. Because the fact is, a couple weeks ago I went over to a friend's house and I had a couple beers, and then I had drank a couple nights, and it was awful. It was the fucking worst. I felt fucking terrible the next day, and it's crazy how much that shit affects me longer than just a day. Like it fucked me up. Like it kind of pulled me back down a little bit. Which is crazy. But that's kind of the crazy thing about alcohol, isn't it? It's like the drunken sacred. I thought you guys are like, sipping on your beers, and I'm going like, but it's weird how it alters, because I wonder, because I've been off and on drinking for fucking how long, 30 years now, and and it alters your brain. So like because I took 4 weeks and didn't drink at all for like 4 weeks, like when I got back from Vegas. The weirdest thing in the world is to do that during grief, because my stepfather obviously passed away. But, the weirdest thing, like the perfect time to do that. That's what the time when most people go, fuck it, I'm gonna have a
right. I don't care about anything else.
I decided no, because it made me feel so bad emotionally, and I felt, and I was, before I went over to my buddies, I was feeling good. I was like starting to feel like, all right, then all of a sudden, bam. So it's just like, wow, it's amazing how much that shit affects you. Then again, I don't know if it's just that. Obviously, I think grief in itself affects your body physically as well. Over time, or stress and cortisol and all that kind of crazy shit.
Fuck yeah. So, well, you remember back in 2012 when I was having those panic attacks unexplicably. Remember, I lost both my grandmothers and had to put my cat down and was going through some other shit with a breakup. And so, yeah, dude, no, it definitely fucks with your physiological as well as your psychological, you know.
So, well, and every grief experience is different because you can have, you know, I know when I lost my brother, I felt a certain way, went right back to work. I mean, I felt like shit. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I went back to work real quick. And that's what I needed to do. And with my dad, I pretty much passed out for 2 days. But a lot of that had to do with hospice care. And finally, I'm like, okay, it's done, you know. And so, and then it hit me 2 years later, you know, around the holidays. And I was actually okay. And then, you know, so it's really interesting how, there's no, well, and Louie, you know better, but I don't believe there's any timeline on it. Like they say, oh, it's a process that takes 2 years. It's just not.
Yeah, it doesn't have a timeline.
There's no timeline.
No.
There's no timeline. And you know, I always think of my wife's situation with her grandfather. Her grandfather and her were really close. Like it was like her second dad in a sense.
Okay.
And she actually has a dad, but you know, and she's really close with her dad too. But you know, when her grandfather passed away, that was 20 years ago. And I swear, if you talk about him like right now, she would be like crying, like, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like very strange. It's like, okay, that was 20 years ago. You should have gotten over that. You're a tough girl, right?
Right.
Yeah. And that's another thing. It's an interesting, it's very interesting. You're a tough girl.
You're a tough bitch.
You're a tough bitch.
Well, it's interesting. I know we're going down this road a little bit. Like, and I know we went down this road a little bit last time, but it's just interesting watching things and seeing things because when my dad passed away, and like you said, it's different. My dad passed away. I wasn't thinking the same things that I'm thinking now. And maybe it's because I'm just older and more people around me. I know I have the harsh reality of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But now my thoughts are like, I haven't cried that much really at all. I haven't cried at all since, maybe a little bit when he passed, but, and I'm not really thinking, oh, I miss him. I'm thinking, God, I'm worried about everybody else. And I know I talked about this before. Yeah. But also, I'm facing the real harsh reality of death. Like before it was like, oh yeah, you know, like last is like, well, you know, but now it's like, holy shit, man, it's really hitting me like existential thoughts. Like, what the fuck is the meaning of all this?
Sure.
And that kind of stuff. And it's up and down. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on. Go ahead.
So were you closer to your dad than you were your stepdad, or was it?
Oh yeah. And I was close to my stepdad too. He's like a second dad.
Sure.
But I was definitely closer to my dad. And just, but
which is understandable. I mean, that's just you know, it's your real dad. You know.
But also, it's like
not always. You know. It's like,
yeah.
Some people aren't close to their biological dad, and then really close with their stepdad.
With their step-parent. That's
pretty
true.
much raised them.
Very true. And you know, and like I said, I definitely consider him a part of the family, and
sure.
But it's just more idea. The idea now is like, you know, how is everybody else dealing with it? You know,
like we say, man, there's no manual on how to deal with grief. It just happens, man.
There's no manual on any of it.
No.
And like my mom, and this is an interesting idea. My mom, we haven't had a memorial yet for him. And we're getting it. I mean, she's supposed to be, I don't want to go into too much detail about that because I know people want to pay their respects, but you know, and I think that's something that's a little weird how that goes, how people do that in a week too. It's been
really
a while,
quick.
obviously.
Yeah. Like he's dead on Friday. We're having a memorial on Monday.
Yeah.
You know?
And to try to get it out of the way. And I know this is a little longer, and I know it's you know, that's up to them to figure out what's going to happen, you know, but all these little things that I worry about, they're not related to him at all. It's not loss. It's you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, I missed, you know,
right. You're worried about your family, how they're taking it.
But yeah.
You said it. You said a very important thing that I want to pinpoint. You just said it's up to them to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, a lot of times we think, oh, maybe if we say the right words, they'll express to me how they're going through this, and then I can feel better about it. Like, oh, they're actually dealing with it just fine. Or I could pry into their mind somehow.
Yeah.
We're human beings. We're not mind readers. We're also human beings and not robots, so we can't be controlled by each other.
Yep.
Right.
So what can we do? The only thing we can control is our own stuff.
Yeah. And and everybody's dealing with it in their own way, and obviously, my mom is dealing with it, and I'm sure she's working on something, and there's been
right
getting stuff together like through the vet stuff and all that stuff. But the one
what I would say to all that though is like when you were saying something about when I was saying about being in control of things, right?
Yeah.
You do have control over one thing: your relationships with those people.
Yeah.
So like if you're worried about your mom, having an issue or worried about how she's feeling or how she's doing, try to create, I'm sure you have a decent relationship with your mom, but I mean, try to create more of a bond with her at this time. Like,
do you call her often?
Oh,
That's my question.
Yeah, I call her.
Often, or how often you guys talk?
Once a week or so, once every couple of weeks. I just don't want to be calling every.
You don't have to call every day, but
no. You don't have to do that.
But
unless you want to,
right? But every week would probably be good if you want to just check in.
I've been checking. Yeah, I've definitely been checking in with her. But I
also, that's the thing my mom's been doing. She just lost a friend about a week ago, a very close friend, and it was kind of a similar situation to what happened with your stepdad, cruise control, because it was something a very fairly simple injury that it spiraled and more things started going wrong. And before you knew it, she's in hospice and the whole bit. So anyway, my mom's been texting me every day, and I'm like, this is weird. I'm not used to that.
Well, but everybody does.
Yeah.
Like I say, everybody does it differently. Like the worst thing you can do when I'm grieving is bother me.
That's exactly.
I don't, but some people, they love that shit. They love
that.
The church bringing the casseroles over and the everything, and I'm like,
yeah.
The best thing my friend did.
You gotta gauge it. You gotta gauge it.
Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm gauging it, like because my mom even said a couple weeks ago, she's got, I'm just so tired of telling everybody about it's going.
That's understandable.
And it's like I just want to let and.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so talk about other things.
Yeah.
Other things that are going on in your life, like your
improv
stuff that you're doing in your life that she may not know so much about. It might take her mind off of it for a little bit,
Yeah.
Shoot her a link to the Drunken Sacred.
And seeing, like, do you want to talk? Do you not? I think the most effective thing when my dad passed was my friend Stacy. She called me and she said, I made a bunch of soup, and if you want, I can leave it on the porch because I think you'll probably need to eat something, but I don't even have to come in. And I thought that is extremely astute. Somebody who exactly knows me.
Yeah.
Where other people were like, oh, we got, my parents had, or my mom had people from their church come over and we made non-dairy enchiladas. I'm like, I don't fucking want non-dairy. What the fuck are you doing? We did it for you though. I'm like, oh God, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, well, see, and this kind of goes into another thing where, I know this might be from being blind and visually impaired and independent. We don't like people to worry about us. And that's what's been this whole
heck yeah.
Like this whole thing with my leg is driving me fucking nuts because everybody else is all so concerned about it. Oh, what's going on with you? What, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'm not dead. And that's the other thing, the thing probably looks worse than it really, like it's not bothering me. It's not hindering me, so I want to be active. I want to do things. I want to live normal life. But yet,
I mean, the only thing that worries me about that situation is I think that you're not healing fast enough. And I don't know, maybe I'm just have high expectations.
No, it worries. That bothers me too. That does bother me. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But this time, not gonna do the dumb shit again. I'm not gonna, jump and get overzealous. Oh, I could shower.
Yeah, but even before that,
Well,
it was
sure.
only 2 weeks ago. So that's still
Well, and
that's what
it
I'm
is
saying.
hindering you. It is hindering you a little bit. It's not hindering you. I think that the concern sometimes that we get is people worry about us being able to do things that we can already, I had, one of my bosses yesterday showing, you want me to walk you downstairs? I'm like, no,
I got this.
my legs are fine. And she meant it really sweet. And it actually, and then, we just ended up actually walking down together anyway, because she wanted to walk. But I was like, so
but that's
I
the thing. Like sometimes I think because I think sometimes when people say, do you want me to walk you downstairs? What they're trying to say is maybe we want to have a conversation while we're walking down the stairs, or maybe she just wanted it, like you said, she just wanted to walk somewhere, and she was like seeing that you were going down there, and like, hey, let me join you,
But we react because we're so used to getting tardified all the time,
babied,
baby. So it's like, fuck, I don't even. Oh well, a good example. When I told my dad. Because they did put me back on antibiotics, just to err on the side of caution after they did that procedure on Wednesday. So they put me back on just to see what, make sure that nothing gets infected or whatever.
Right.
But anyway, I was telling my dad about what I was getting, what I had and what was going on. So then he texts back and he says, "Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. I know that antibiotic." And I said, "Yeah,
that's the good stuff."
That's what he said. He goes, "It's good stuff." And then he goes, and I said, "Yeah, so I got it. It's and he was asking me how many days they got me on it, whatever." And then he goes, "Be sure to take it with a glass of water." And I'm like thinking, no shit, Dad. I was gonna chop it up and snort it. What the fuck?
That's a dad thing, and that's definitely
that's a parental blindo thing. Like
I don't think it's a blindo thing at all. I think it's just a parental thing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I think it is.
Yeah, because they wouldn't have told my brother.
Like I said, I think it's a parental blindo thing.
And that's what I think. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, parental blindo.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee. Let's say my brother said, "Oh, I'm on an antibiotic." My dad would never shoot him a message saying, "Be sure to take it with a glass of water."
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, no shit. What the fuck? No, I'm going to swallow them whole.
What's
I just thought you were going to get like a spoon and, get a syringe and just mainline it.
Shoot it up. Hell yeah. That or shove it up my butthole. I could do that too. Right?
You know what's interesting about
that's faster acting,
Faster acting.
What's interesting about that whole worry thing is that everybody out there says, "Oh, I don't worry about you." Like, I don't get calls from anybody out there saying how you. I mean, I get
checking on you. You mean
really? That no one's really checking on me. So it's like kind of strange.
Well, that's a good thing. Okay, so
which I don't really care. I mean, because I'm dealing. Yeah. It's just interesting. Go ahead, Louie.
But yeah, I was thinking, my wife and her sister, their parents treat them completely different. The sister is like, because she's a little bit younger, they like make sure that she's okay, and they pretty much freaking do everything for her. And she's not even blind,
Well, and that's the thing. I'm older. I'm the older brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yet I get babied all the fucking time.
Exactly. And so like with my wife, she's kind of the responsible one, the one who always does everything correctly and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And they never worry about her. And she's like, "Why don't you ever call me and ask me if I need anything?" And then they're like, "Because we know you don't need anything."
And I take pride in it. I take pride in it, and definitely take pride in it in a way like, hey, I'm glad people don't worry about me. Although, I worry about me.
You worry about everything. You worry about yourself and people 6 blocks away.
Yeah, I do. I worry about thinking, and I've also, it's definitely true. And this has exacerbated that worry. Definitely, this whole thing. It's aggravated.
Yeah,
it's definitely aggravated my anxiety. But I've come to a real interesting realization over this is something I'm still trying to deal with. Obviously, I'm talking, like I said, the existential stuff, like what's the meaning of life. That stuff is just that's we can go into that if we want to, but like why like what's the point? But
But what's the point for you though? Like we could talk about like we could talk about what's the meaning for life in general as a general concept. But what is the meaning of life for you? Like what freaking wakes you up in the morning to want to do what you want to do? You know,
right?
What
I know, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like,
yeah,
like, and it's strange. Like I said, grief is it's crazy how this is affecting me so differently. Like my dad dies. I mean, maybe it's because that was the first time thing. When he passed away, it was like I had no idea what the hell I was doing for like 3 months. Like I was in some complete fucking haze. Like, you know, like what? Now it's like, you know, I'm constantly worrying about all this different shit, and I'm like, what? Because now it's like hit me like, oh my god, like.
It's probably because you're older.
Well, and here these things keep happening. Like here's an example. I did some improv on Wednesday night. And this is not actually the point I was getting to, but I kind of got sidetracked. But anyway, I went to an improv thing on Wednesday night with this guy, David, he drove me we were driving out to his improv thing. It was about an hour away. So we had a nice conversation going out in the back. And he's like, yeah, you know, he's in his early 70s. And we're talking about all this kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, I hung out with my friend Rob the other day. You know, I brought my bike over there, and he's got a caretaker. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then, you know, I'm like, okay, we did the improv. It was great. And then on Sunday, he went to my other improv class. And I go, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh, my friend Rob passed away Thursday. Shit. My best friend. I'm like, oh, it's like everywhere. It's like, But then again, if I wasn't focusing on it, it wouldn't be everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's still there.
It's that little, whatever that psychological thing is called.
Yeah. What is that psychological thing?
Says the guy who studies psychology.
Right.
That's psychological thing.
Whatever that.
That's a technical term. It's called whatever that's called.
I think I want to call it confirmation bias or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it. Yeah.
Basically, it's this whole thing where, you know, somebody gave me an example one time. They said, you know, sometimes you'll buy a Toyota or you'll buy a car, a certain kind of car, right? And then you hadn't seen any of them on the road. And now all of a sudden you see them everywhere. And you're like, what the hell? You know, like everywhere now. And it's because you're paying attention to it.
Right.
You're paying attention to so right now you feel like death is all around you. Even though, sure, it kind of is, right? It kind of is in a way. I mean, let's not deny it that it's you know, that's. Yeah, you know, you got this guy whose best friend died, and you got your stepdad. I mean, those are real things, right? And
then, you know,
but the perception is, oh man,
mom's friend,
yeah. So, 3 people died. Yeah, people die every day.
I know.
True.
That's the real part. And I'm going to go, you know, and that you look at yourself and go, oh shit, you know, what am I doing? You know.
Well, yeah, but you know what? You don't want to spend your life worrying about shit like that.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the struggle. I'm in that struggle where it really hit me in the face hard. Right. And I'm dealing with that. But
it might be cliche, but live every day like it is your last day.
Yeah. I know. And that's where I'm trying to get back to because, like, you know, it's like my buddy Ranger, you know.
Yeah.
I was hanging out the other day with them, and he called me after hanging out, and he goes, "Hey man, you just seem a little, you don't seem 100% Jeff." And I'm like, huh, you know, and I'm like, I guess because I'm not, you know, but I think it's okay to be that way. It's okay to not and to not.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, by the way, one of the things that guy said, he goes, after he goes, I'm so sorry about your loss. He goes, well, at my age, it's inevitable. And I'm just like, oh,
that's what happens. You start losing.
Well, but that's also something that I think people assume.
Yeah.
And yes, you do start losing more people the older you get. Yes. Certainly it happens. But what I will tell you from my own life experience is, you know, I'm lucky to be alive. When I was hit by the car, the paramedics were like, I can't believe how you landed. And I did everything right. When I was crossing the street, I just happened to have, I don't remember because I had a concussion, but apparently I tucked up and did this curl. And it taught me that we can be doing everything right. And we don't know when our number's up. And so the idea that it's inevitable, and then sometimes, and I get a little sensitive when people talk about, it's inevitable at my age, because I get a lot of clients that'll come in and be like, well, I'm 60, so I have arthritis. I'm like, well, what are you doing? You're still responsible for your life choices, because my grandma lived to be 92 and my aunt lived to be 97 and my grandpa lived to be 75. Like, it's inevitable that it's going to happen, but we don't know when, and we don't know why. And I lost a really
most of the time we don't know how either.
Yeah.
Last year to liver cancer.
Hmm.
She had a 4-stage liver cancer, and good friend of mine. I grew up with her. We played together, and she passed in October. I was walking out of an appointment, and I got a call from her sister. She said, she can't talk back, but you need to say goodbye to her if you want to.
And this is somebody you grew up with, that you hung out with?
Wow. Oh yeah, we played together as kids, and we're friends, and through high school and everything. And who knows why? Because she had clean living. We would go out for cocktails occasionally, but she wasn't one that abused her body very much. And it just happened.
Damn.
And so just a year older than I am, and so you just don't know. And so I think that's the thing, is live every day, not it's your last, but just how you want to live it.
Yep.
And also be, and I'm definitely seeing that. And that's kind of, I'm like, not, and that's kind of where I'm going with this a little bit, is that I'm also realizing, it is definitely mindset. Like, really, like my other brother is like, man, dude, you basically, you can do whatever you want right now. You got an improv group, you're hanging out with your friends, you're doing this, you're doing that. What is really wrong in your life?
Mm-hmm.
What is really going wrong that's wrong in your life? And I'm like, well, I'm and obviously I'm feeling this grief. But like it's a mindset, but it's also letting yourself feel it too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and also, like not like regrets and stuff like that. Like I said, I haven't drank that much, and I think it's lately, and I think, oh, what if I wouldn't have stopped drinking? But what if you would have stopped drinking 6 months ago? And then you went to the store at a different time of the day, because instead of going to the store that night, you went that day and a car hit you. Like, you don't, like you said, you don't know. Like,
you have no idea.
You have no idea. Like, let's say, oh, well, I've been looking back. God, I drank a lot at certain times. Like, why did I do that? Well, what if you didn't? And instead of going out that night for beer, you went out, like I said, you didn't go out that night for beer. You went down to get the mail when you were going to go get beer, slipped on a leaf, and fell down your steps and broke your neck and killed yourself.
Well, that's the thing. When I got hit because I actually probably wouldn't have got hit, because I was thinking about going around the corner, grabbing a 6-pack, and I didn't. I'm like, I'm cutting calories. So I was trying to be good.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
So if you would have gotten a 6-pack, you might have been okay, is what you're saying.
My thing is that how sometimes things piss you off, like getting to work late, or somebody picking you up later, and something happens.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Max knows all about
that. That's my thing, man.
All those Facebook posts, all those Facebook posts. But I even take little mundane things like that and say, I don't know if that's, not to get too deep into religion, but I don't know if that's God protecting me. I don't know if that's like, maybe I'm late because if I wasn't late, then something would have happened to me. I have no idea, you know?
Yeah, well, it's,
so it's like everything does happen for a reason. Like, everything happens for a reason. There's something that's going on there. Well, and maybe sometimes one of those reasons is to keep you freaking alive.
Well, and here's the thing. Like Koala was talking about, the day that I got hit by a car back in 2000, I went because we had a note on our door that I had a package in the office. This is back when there were apartments. So I was like, oh, yeah, but the talking clock that I ordered. Oh, shit. So, of course, I ran down, got the talking clock. And instead of going, well, I'll put batteries in it and set it later. No, I was like, oh, no, I got to do it now, man. Let me put the batteries in, set it. I'll still be on time. So then I did all that, and then I left the house, whereas if I didn't do all that shit with the clock, maybe I wouldn't have gotten hit by a car. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe you would,
Maybe you would.
Maybe you still would have. Yeah.
And that's what somebody told me. The guy named Mario. I was hanging out with him. I went over to a buddy's my house with this guy. He's an Italian guy. He's from Italy, so he talks like we got the Italian,
really with Mario,
like
yeah,
the real
It's
Italian
Mario.
accent. And he goes, and we're talking about this. Like I said, it's on my mind. He goes, you know what? Nothing is in your control. You are nothing. You are completely. Life is just you have to just let shit happen.
Yeah.
And my overall point, which I've been kind of looking to get to, is and that includes emotions. Like sometimes you just have to let yourself feel like shit. Sometimes you're going to feel like shit. You're not going to feel good. You're not going to wake up going, "Oh my God!" And we always try to fix it.
That's a part of life. Everybody wants to be fucking happy all the time.
All the time.
That's not how it works.
No.
And so what they do is I'm like, well, why am I feeling this way? Because someone you close to died a month and a half ago, dumbass.
Correct.
Yeah,
what the fuck do you think? Like, what do you? Well, maybe it's magnesium. Maybe I need more magnesium. And I'm looking at all this shit, and I'm, and it's like maybe, and that's true. Maybe I do need more. Maybe eat certain things.
Well, it has nothing to do with the way you feel, though. I think.
Well, it does. But my point is,
magnesium's fantastic. Let's not knock magnesium.
I'm not. As a matter of fact, I just started taking
noni juice is better.
Oh, actually, I'll talk to you about
the noni juice.
Oh, noni juice. We talked about noni juice on here before.
I got magnesium.
Really?
I take it every night. I've never slept better.
Way back in the 90s, my dad sold that shit.
What?
Noni?
Yes.
In the 90s?
Hell yeah.
Noni in the 90s. The 19 nonis?
90 nonis.
Noni juice.
Oh my God, that shit's awful, dude.
Remember Sluggo used to sell that shit. Remember? And one day I was talking to Koala about it, and she was like, "You know about noni juice?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Oh man, and so it's funny because by the way, magnesium. I just started taking it this week. I'm hopefully it's supposed to help a lot of different things, sleep and.
Which one are you taking?
Glycinate.
Oh, good. Yeah, you want to take the glycinate. You don't want to take the
oxide,
carbonate or the oxide. Yeah.
Yeah, the oxide doesn't absorb well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because, if you need another recommendation, if that one's not working great, BioOptimizers makes one that I take that has 7 different compounds.
Mm-hmm. They're all different. It's crazy.
And so it's fucking amazing. I mean, my boss gave this to me. He's like,
so what does it do?
So when your basoganglia gets in your brain, is a little bit off, or imbalanced, it regulates that. And so it actually just, for me, what it does is it really causes the breathing to just deepen. And so your body, it initiates relaxation very well because it's taking away that center of you that's going into the place that Cruz is going, where you're thinking too much. Yeah. You're overanalyzing. So when your basoganglia goes into that place, it's great for production and for work, but it's really not great for overall life. And that's one of the reasons I've had trouble with insomnia all my life. So when I started taking that, I mean, it's great. It actually really works. But the glycinate is the one that you want mainly to regulate that. This one just happens to have more of the
theanate,
theanate,
the malate, and I've looked at all that shit. That's what I do. How long does usually how long does it usually take to really start? I mean, I've taken them since like Tuesday or so. I just got them from, but just kind of at first it was making me sleep worse. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You probably need the theanate and the malate and definitely the theanate also. So if it's not working for you, just give me a text and I'll just send you over a little sample of mine and you can try it because it's got a lot of different compounds, but it doesn't have the oxide or the carbonate, which is what you don't want.
Yeah, it also says it can take. It's like a lot of times it can take a week or so to really start taking effect if you just.
You're taking something,
and that helps with what? Sleep.
Helps a lot
with sleep.
It's 300 different enzyme over 300. It's like sleep, muscles, heart. Blood pressure. It's magnesium. It's one of the essential minerals like calcium, potassium.
Right. Right.
And it's just amazing. And the thing about it is, this is crazy, but that most people don't get enough of it. Like 65, 66, like 2/3 of Americans don't get enough magnesium because it used to be in our water. Because we used to drink water from rivers, like literally drink the water from the river.
Right.
And they would have the minerals in the actual water. Now all of our water is treated, and all of our plants are actually grown in soil that doesn't have the minerals that it used to. So we're not getting all these essential minerals and shit that we used to get automatically. And so it's actually a really good mineral to take, the magnesium.
Yeah.
Since we're on the subject of supplements, what do you think? And Koala, I'm mainly asking you, what do you think of turmeric?
Turmeric.
Turmeric. So here's the same thing. So, and I'll even go this way with
turmeric.
Magnesium.
Yeah.
With both of them. So it depends on why you're taking it. Turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. I wouldn't take it as a supplement. The reason is it's more concentrated and it can be hard on the stomach. If you don't have a sensitive stomach, go ahead. But if you eat foods,
you're talking to the guy who eats roaches.
So you're probably fine. But a lot of times we want to eat our vitamins and minerals, I think, more than just taking them as supplements if we can.
Absolutely.
Well, the reason. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But even with, so you want to look at the direct thing. Why are you taking it? If it's for anti-inflammatory purposes, certainly eat it. If you have muscle cramps, certainly take your magnesium, but you're better off actually just putting a topical that has the magnesium on your muscles. And if you're having cramping, also taking it. But then the turmeric, I would say it's better processed in the body, from my experience, by just eating it in your diet.
Well, here's the deal. The reason I started taking it is my coworker swears by it, and she had a bunch of circulation issues too, where she had an injury and it wasn't healing, kind of similar thing. And she started taking the turmeric and she swears by it. And, so I said, all right, you know what? I'm going to try taking this and see how it is.
Kind of like that's taking a 7-Up for nausea, which is what I do.
Right.
But it's not really, turmeric doesn't really help with your circulation. It's an anti-inflammatory, so it will cause a little vasoconstriction. So sometimes that's not what you want.
Oh, really?
But basically she thinks it works. Sometimes what we have to do is the placebo, where if they think it works and it's not
that's
harmful,
exactly what
go
I was
ahead.
thinking.
Yes.
Well, that's what my because I introduced her to my handyman, and once she was talking to us about some health shit, and later he goes, do not listen to anything she says about health. She looks like she's about 90. So
if they think they feel better, it's fine.
But that's also what I was talking about.
I love it when Sides give us information that we can use.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, don't look at her. She looks like she's about to fall off the face of the earth.
And you're going,
but it goes back to that goddamn thing that we're all so pampered in our world. We have to fix everything. Can be fixed.
Yes,
take this and we'll fix it. Take magnesium, and magnesium has actually been proven to help you. I mean, it's proven
neurologically.
It's actually something that you should be taking. It's one of those things that they say, like all that electrolytes are so, like potassium as well. All those. So those are all something that's, but like turmeric is like almost like it's like there's a bunch of them, like turmeric is one of them.
Ginger for your stomach,
like all that kind of stuff. Take all these different kinds of mushrooms for this and that.
Yeah, well,
but magnesium is literally a building block of just about every part of your body. So that's something that's not a claim that Koala's making.
So why can't you just? I mean, I'm gonna play stupid devil's advocate right here and say, well, why don't you just drink Gatorade then if you have an electrolyte imbalance?
Because it doesn't absorb in the body. That's the reason why that we get the glycinate, because it's attached to, it's a whole crazy shit. But like the oxide stuff is basically just magnesium, and it just doesn't absorb in your body. And it's the cheapest kind you can get. So anything in those drinks like that is, and plus those things are so filled with sugar and carbs and other shit.
No, sure.
Yeah.
But with the ones that we're talking about, they actually are bound to neurotransmitters. Like glycine is a neurotransmitter. Gotcha. Glycine is the thing that helps with GABA and other things like that. And so when you take it in your stomach, it absorbs, and it doesn't absorb great. It doesn't absorb it's still not absorbing all of it. But
I have a funny story about GABA.
Uh-oh.
So
not the 70s band, right? Oh, that's
no,
ABBA.
no, not the
That's ABBA.
No.
I apologize.
Well, that's
That's
it's gag worthy. So yeah, their music. So
GABA. So what did you have a story about GABA? That's another one. GABA. GABA's one.
So I took a basically drugs and psychology class. Two of my favorite things. I was like, oh man, this is great. Man. How drugs affect you psychologically. Cool. And he said, the professor said, this is the way that you can remember it. He says, usually stimulants, they have something called, they attach to something called glutamate. Mm-hmm. And he says, so in your mind, just say glutamate really fast and really excited. So that's the excitatory thing. And then he says, and then the depressive drugs like alcohol and benzos and some of these other ones, they attach to the slow ones. So you just say it real slow. GABA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I swear I've never forgotten that. Glutamate. GABA.
So that was, you know what that was? That was a mnemonic learning device. Is what
Heck yeah, that was great, man. I'll never forget that.
Well, it's certain shit. Like I remember my 4th grade teacher taught me dessert versus desert. And he says, you want to get through the desert as quick as possible. So it only has one S, where dessert has 2 S's because you want to enjoy it longer. You know what I mean? So that's how I remember that.
The desert's not sweet, and the dessert is, so it has an extra S.
Right, exactly. But so that's how you remember. But I always remembered that. That always
sticks with you, right?
Yeah, it stuck with me. Forever.
It's funny though, with all these different things. Like I said, it's always just like, oh well, what can I do to fix this? And you can't, like I said, you can't fix sometimes. You can't fit. Sometimes you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be in a shit mood.
Yeah.
And you got to tell yourself, I'm in a shit mood. And it's like, okay, not like, well, I'm in a shit. Why? There's got to be something wrong with me. It's like, yeah.
Sometimes, right?
But sometimes there is, like, you lost some blood close to it, which is something wrong, obviously. Or
you got to just ride that. That's the process, man. It's just what it is. It'll eventually fade out.
Yeah,
it's like you know what? You once gave me this analogy, cruise control. It's like as you're walking, the mountain's behind you, and as you get further away from the mountain, you can see the mountain. It's still there, but it's less and less as you keep walking. You know what I mean? So same kind of shit, man. It's just you just got to keep walking, and that mountain, it'll be there, and eventually it'll disappear. But it's gonna be you just gotta.
Yep. And I also, in my personal situation, also, I am changing. My mind is getting reset because I'm not drinking anymore.
Well,
yes.
It literally is being reset because
I'm just laughing. My mind is being reset.
Yes, it is.
But it does, though. It does.
No, I know it does. It does. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
You're
because literally, if you stop, it literally, my mind's going, what the fuck? Where's that weekly, daily, or not? Couple days? Where's the beer, man? Where's the glass of wine? Where's that? And it's also a coping mechanism that you use for emotion. So when you don't have it, I'm being like slammed, like, I'm like, before it's like, all right,
of course,
grab myself a beer, and
So what are you doing to handle it now?
To what?
What are you doing to deal with it now?
Magnesium.
He's doing magnesium glycinate. That is what he's doing.
Hey, well, you know what? I gotta say, I mean, it sounds like you don't really want it.
I just cracked another one, by the way. So.
Yeah, well, me too. I'm on beer number 3. So
this is not a public service announcement. I'm just going.
No.
But what am I doing about it? I'm trying to focus on the stuff that I like I can do, like my improv stuff, and and I'm trying to, and it's weird because sometimes I think, I need to do more, but then when I'm in a good mood and I'm sitting here and I have nothing to do, I'm like, I got nothing to do. It's fucking awesome. So it's not that, it's like, it's my mindset. It's just coming to terms with certain stuff, and and maybe a harsh way of saying it is getting my head out of my butt
Right.
a little bit, out of my own navel gazing, like just focusing on these things, and it's a habit. It's definitely something it's a learning. It's something I've learned a lot about myself the last couple of months. Like and you get in that habit, you get in that, what do they call it? Do you ever heard of looping?
Yeah. Just like the same old shit over and over kind of deal?
Where you loop the same anxiety loop or whatever, where you're looping the same, what's wrong with my mom? My brother's like this, my brother's not doing this.
Yeah, well, that's just anxiety all over. Like, basically, I mean, not to diagnose anybody on here, but like generalized anxiety disorder is like that. It's worrying about worry.
Yeah,
it's basically it's the simple
specific, right?
Yeah.
It's just
sometimes
kind of like
it's nothing. Sometimes it's nothing specific.
Something's supposed to happen, right? Something's supposed to happen, kind of thing, right?
Yes. Waiting for the shoe to drop, but what shoe?
Right.
There could be any shoe.
Yeah. Well, you could have GAD.
Yeah.
Well,
just saying.
And I found this year has kind of been a butt-fuckulous year anyway. And
definitely butt-fuckulous.
And I've
that is definitely a term. The term for this year has been.
It is now.
Yes,
it has been butt-fuckulous.
That goes with bakayaki and other terms. Butt-fuckulous.
Butt-fuckulous.
So how was it a butt-fuckulous year?
Just a lot of shit, man.
Because I think I need to understand the term here.
Well, it's kind of a shitty year in general, at least for me and for other people. I can't. When I say it's shitty, I'm talking about for myself. I don't know about other people. I just happen to know it has been shitty for Cruise Control because again we've been friends since the beginning of time, as it were. But no, it's just been, and I've kind of found that the phrase you don't want to use this year is things are looking up, because as soon as you think they are, some other shit happens, you know what I mean? Or get knocked the fuck back. Like the thing with the wound, here it was. I'm like, oh, it's healing, dude. Oh, we're turning the corner, man. We're getting a ship. Oh, what more hematoma? Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but you don't want to do that, because the thing is, and that's the trap that I get into, is I worry about letting things look up, because I think, when is the next thing going to fuck me over? Right. And but I think what it is just be smart about it. Just think, okay, my leg's healing, let's do this, let's do that, and you don't have to worry about things. It's okay to acknowledge things looking up, and actually you do want to do that, because you don't want to be you don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I mean,
Debbie Downer. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, but here's the thing.
You were probably looking for another D that was masculine, right?
I was, but I didn't.
So was I.
How about a David Downer? I don't know.
David Downer.
David Downer. Yeah.
You don't want to be David Downer, because I'll tell you right now, that gets tiresome, and then usually
you
come around somebody that's
same wavelength with that.
Well, and it was kind of like, I've kind of found when I don't go, oh, there's an ending in sight. There's kind of like with COVID. Remember when all the COVID shit? And I was like, oh, when are things going to open up? God damn it. Things aren't opening up.
Wait, what was COVID?
What's that?
What was that?
Yeah, remember all that COVID? You're like, remember all that COVID? No, I don't remember that.
No,
what are you talking about? COVID?
That's in the past. Yes.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago, buddy. Actually, which, by the way, guys, I went and did a speaking event. What was it back? It was like last Wednesday, and it was at an adult daycare. I walked in there, and those motherfuckers made me put a mask on. They were like, we have, you have to wear a mask in here. Let me give you a mask. And I'm like, wow, you guys are still drinking from Joe Biden's adult diaper. I'm like,
I had a guy ask me to do that last week.
That's how that drink from Joe Biden's adult diaper?
Cup of Joe.
Cup of Joe. Drinking a cup of Joe.
Well, I was wondering how they made those root beer floats, but I guess that's how.
Oh boy.
It's a mix between root beer and a cup of Joe.
That's right. It's the inner
root beer
floater of Joe Biden's adult diaper there,
a root beer floater. Yeah
that's what it was, man. It was
the Joe float.
It was a Biden Poseidon.
It's a poop beer float.
Well, actually, the ice cream was the shit, and the piss was the root beer.
Jesus. See, you didn't have to go. See, you push it. See, it was fine.
You gotta go there.
We all
got to. I just have to.
Maybe it was a Dr. Pooper float. No.
Well, they can make those two.
Zero sugar.
It was Coke Zero, man.
Wouldn't you like it? Added. I'm a pooper. You're a pooper. Wouldn't you like to be?
Yeah.
Oh God.
But yeah, I couldn't believe it because all the other, even when I go to the wound care, they don't make me put a fucking mask on. You know, this is like, I walk in there and she hands me a mask and it's like, oh, you got to put this on. And I'm like, damn, what? You fuckers are still. And while I was giving my presentation, this was pissing me off too because I'm talking and the motherfucker's slipping off my nose while I'm trying to talk. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And I'm pulling up my mask every few seconds, trying to give my fucking presentation and tell what we do and how our program works.
And the deaf people there couldn't read your lips, so they got nothing out of it.
They're like, but the buck to this nigga thing.
What?
All the defos? Or no, these are like greffos. These are grandpatic defos. So they're like, hey, what did they say?
Well, this presentation's butt fuckulous.
He said,
I am throwing that one out regularly.
I think
from
if I
now
heard
on.
an old dude say something like that, that'd be it. That'd be. Let me drop the mic.
Like, this guy's just butt fuckulous.
Everybody's welcome to. I love people who use my slang, by the way. So please,
I'm going to. I'm going to throw that out all the time.
Butt means that it's horrible. You know, like, oh, it's been butt fuckulous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 2020 was butt fuckulous. You know, whatever.
But you're right though. Like you said, like it's a state of mind. But the thing is, with you though, you go, oh well. It's I guess that's how you take it in terms of like a light that's in your tunnel, or I'm not gonna say that anymore. But it doesn't change doesn't make you more anxious to not do that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but I'm an impatient fuck, so I want things to end. I want bad things to end quick. So then when they won't, and it's like, we're dragging it out more, you know.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Well, you know, as we get older, I have a feeling that's going to happen more often. So you better get fucking used to it.
Well, and you're probably right. But you know, that's the thing. I found when I resigned myself. Okay, like, well, I'm going back to my 20s now when I couldn't find work. You know, I was so pissed off. I mean, you can ask Cruise Control when we were living together. It's like, why I can't get a job, man. They're fucking discriminating. So I got to the point where I said, fuck it.
I did the same thing. So that's
but I got to the point where I said, fuck
they're
it.
discriminating.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I said, all right, man, I'm just gonna, you know what? Maybe I don't want a job. Maybe, you know, I did that kind of thing. And then once I laid back in the cut and chilled out, then the shit came my way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
that's honestly, that's what happens. I think I might have talked about this before. I can't remember, but that's what happens with women, with me. Every time I was laying back in the cut, not even caring about a woman, all of a sudden women would come out of the woodwork. You're like, what the hell?
Yep. Same thing with me. Like when you wanted a woman, you're like, you know, nobody. But that's the thing. When you go out chasing shit, it's not going to come.
Neither has worked with me, so I tried both. Man.
I don't know, man. I mean,
well, there's always Amazon, Bruce.
That's true.
Oh, you're talking about work or women? I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about any women.
Oh, women?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You do have women that are interested in you. You just not into them.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
God damn it. That's actually the worst.
Oh, I know, right?
Right.
Lower my expectations. You don't need standards. Cruise control?
It's pussy. You should want it, okay?
Just fucking go for it, man.
Yeah, it's just a whole
lower your standards.
If nothing,
yes.
Well, if nothing else, you make a friend. Jeez.
Oh God!
No, I've got enough of those.
Jesus, man!
You got enough of those.
Yeah,
Jesus,
you got
Christ.
enough of those, huh?
Yeah.
No, I don't actually. You can never have enough
actually, Louie, that's a horror because I've heard people say that. Well, nothing. What you could at least make.
That sounded very Sesame Street to me. I'm sorry.
It sure the fuck did.
No, it's true.
So, like I've heard, and he's not the first person to say that.
But it's true. It's true.
It is true. It is
You
true. But
can
sometimes you make a friend you don't
call
want.
out my name.
Well, then you get rid of them.
Though you don't want to spit game. She's so ugly. But she can drive you to work. She can drive you to work. Winter,
Hey,
spring, summer.
sometimes you gotta get those. You gotta get those. You gotta get those women that can drive you places.
Winter,
and shit,
spring, summer, and fall. As long as it's not a booty call.
I will be there.
But
You've
won't eat your twat. No.
Right up your rear end.
I want a friend.
Actually, that was another thing that was going on
We
at that
are
adult
just
daycare.
friends.
I think there was a person. She was I think she was a client, and she was like, I could tell that there was just something mentally off about her. You know what I mean? And she was just like, she said something like, "Do you want a seat?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure." She was like, "Do you want this? Are you thirsty? Are you?" And I'm just like, no, I'm good. And she just kept asking me a bunch of dumb fucking questions. And she like stood there, just giving me that retard creepy stare that you could feel the whole time. And I'm thinking, oh, this bitch probably likes me, man. So I'm like, no, I'm not, not going for, in this case, no. So, but that happens, man. I'm like the tart attractor, that's the Tartatrons love me.
Tartatrons love you.
They're like,
they love everybody.
They want to suck me off with the side of their face that isn't paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? Let me fuck you in the side of the mouth that isn't paralyzed. You sound like a busted reel-to-reel machine. You're like, wow.
We went from a really
very
deep,
serious and somber,
a deep shrink wrap psychological examination of grief to.
Isn't that what we always do?
That's absolutely. We haven't even gone out back.
If we haven't offended everybody.
We haven't even gone out back with any livestock yet either. So.
Oh yeah, throw it in the back of the livestock. Fuck 'em. It's that time of the show, folks. It's Uncle Wally time.
Uncle Wally time.
Oh,
tell your parents to go out of the room, kids.
Well, time for her to tell you dirty things. Hi.
Our little secrets.
Nothing secret. Nothing secret.
Nothing secret. Except from your parents.
Why do they have to have a southern accent? What's up with that?
I don't know.
It just works. It's kind of deliverance.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you got a purty mouth.
Pedos.
Yeah.
It's just that it's
we
inherent.
could go. Oh, it's all little secrets.
Yeah, you don't really see a New York pedo too often. Like,
hey, yo, it's our little secret.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing? That's a good one. Though. It'd be like, how you doing? Hey.
No, they're just the ones that get away with it.
Yeah, that's
why we
true.
don't know about it.
It's just creepier with a southern accent. It just
kind of works.
I mean, I'm sorry, but it just is. That's just how
I don't know. It could be a little creepy, like, hey, little boy, you wanna come?
Okay, that is kind of creepy.
Hey,
well,
the Big Apple. I got a Big Apple in my throat.
Hey, cruise control. You know how it can get a little creepy. Gee, that Big Mac sure looks good. There was all right. Let's just tell these guys that quick story. So we had suite mates when we were in college. In other words, I had myself and my roommate.
He was sweet.
I'm sure they were sweet.
Like a chocolate bun.
Oh yeah, I was thinking more like a chocolate bunny. Marshmallows,
Cadbury egg. Anyway,
okay, so who lived with you?
So this was these guys, they shared a balcony and a bathroom, and this guy Richard, who was just fucking weird anyway, he was from New York, and cruise control is standing there eating this Big Mac, right, that we got from McDonald's, and this guy kind of leans in and he goes,
"Of course you got it from
me."
I know. No, we got it from Wendy's, bro.
Was it Wendy's or was it?
No, it was a Big Mac.
Big Mac, of course. McDonald's, yeah.
I know.
So this guy kind of leans in and he goes, "That Big Mac sure looks good." And it's like, well, what did you expect? Like cruise control is going to give you a bite.
And I go, and I think I said, yeah, it's fucking great, or something like that. But he was like, it's like, Dad, because he was probably starving student, like, Dad, the Big Mac sure look like, you want a bite, buddy?
Right.
Give you a cut
that's
up
up there
piece
with
for you.
Can I have a sip of your Mickey's, please? There's always some weird fucker trying to get at your shit, man.
Yeah, dude, I don't understand that, man. I was in my house. This is I don't know if Koala knows this story, but that was a different time when we were Max and I were living together, and he had this dude over here who was his producer, or who was
David Bowie. He was a promoter.
And he was just sitting here, and I had a Mickey's Big Mouth 40. That was those big ass 40 ounces
in the fridge.
Gee, actually, I was drinking it. I think.
Oh no, it was still in the fridge. This fucker stuck his head in the fridge. Did it?
Oh yeah.
What do you got in the fridge? Yeah. And then he saw it.
Jeff, can I have a sip of your Mickey's?
Please. He put the please, and he sounded so pathetic when he said it.
And I was like, no.
Absolutely not.
Hey, listen,
Had you not said please, maybe.
If it was a 2 liter of soda, sure, but a 40 ounce of beer, hell no. I wouldn't.
Oh, the Mickeys, the 40s.
Those 40s, yeah.
Can I put my mouth on your Mickeys?
Can I put your mouth on your Mickeys that touched the crack pipe that I smoked earlier?
Listen, I just blew a dealer to get that crack, so there's a little bit of dealer nut still residue on my lips.
You be tasting some of the dick on your Mick.
How did you drink that back in the day? I can't even imagine.
Back in the day,
shit, that was the 90s. That was like 99.
I know. I can't even.
That
imagine.
Is back in the day, bro.
I know it is.
Imagine even looking at it now.
Here's the funny thing: Mickey's today is like light. Like if someone said, "Oh, you want a Mickey's?" I'm like, it's like only like 6% alcohol. Sure, I'll try.
Yeah, but it's got some weird thing though. Malt liquor is different. I don't know.
Yeah, malt liquor is different. Yeah,
I could not. I mean, I remember back in the day doing like the St. Ides and the Crazy Horse. And
those were
Old English. And,
Old English.
Oh God, he was our Steel Reserve. Gotta love some.
Yeah, I did that once.
I did that once too. Once a weekend at least.
Hey, cruise control had the heart.
I feel like a virgin over here. I don't even know any of that shit that you guys are talking about.
Good. You're not missing out.
You don't want to.
Yeah, it's probably not. It's probably good that you don't.
No.
And we actually applaud you for not knowing that shit.
Yes. Yes, you are a beacon of truth, a beacon of
hope.
And so it's that's funny, man.
So the only thing I knew about St. Ides is that Ice Cube sponsored it.
Oh, I know. Well, a lot of rappers were doing those kind of commercials back then. Remember, Ghetto Boys did. But
they used to have commercials for that shit. Yeah, get some St. Ides. Like,
they'd rap it. They have a whole rap about that shit.
Oh yeah,
about these,
So, it would mess you up.
It was cheap. That's why it's cheap.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Cheap and strong. Bang bang.
King Cobra.
Oh yeah. Or Billy. Yeah. What was it? Colt 45. Billy D.
Yeah.
Remember that shit?
Colt 45. I'm so suave and so sophisticated that I drink my breath just smelled like somebody died, but I got a Colt 45.
Colt 45.
My friends and I, we tried to be nostalgic. And actually, my brother Steve was with us, and we thought, let's go to the park where we used to drink when we were teenagers, and let's get 40s. And we go, and it lasted like 10 minutes, and they were braver than I was. They were drinking it, and finally, I stood up. I'm like, "This is fucked up, and it tastes like shit. Let's get out of here."
It's like Eddie Money.
Yeah,
I want to go back.
Exactly.
But I'm feeling so much older, but I can't go back.
That's because you had to go somewhere else to drink. So you had to go to the park to drink.
Man,
you could only afford like $2 for a 40.
But you know what we used to do?
Couldn't be at the house.
Here's the thing that, like me, my brother, and our other buddy, the other Jeff that I know, we used to go to we'd get a 20-piece hot wing from KFC, and then we'd pull up at the park and then eat the wings and then just throw the bones out the window while we were listening to X-Clan
Wow.
Vainglorious.
Vainglorious.
It's protected by the red, the black, and the green.
And the green with the
Keys,
keys.
sissy. So in 2010, we figured for the hell of it, let's go do that shit again. That was fun. Well, it just didn't have the same allure as it did back then.
No, there's a reason we did that when we were kids.
The difference is this time you got out of the car and picked up all the bones and threw them in the trash. Like responsible.
You know what? I don't know if we did or not.
No.
I think what you did was you said, Brother Jay said, yuck.
Especially because it's fried chicken, and he's an African brother, he's like, that's that impure stuff that the white man's feeding.
KRS-One was real big into that at the very beginning.
Oh, about not eating pork or meat or any meat.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. I was like, wow, I didn't know he was all into that.
Oh yeah, dude, he was a hardcore into the meat vegetarian, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But oh shit, man, that's funny. Yeah, but you can't do the same things and make them and expect them to be fun like they used to be, back in the day.
Can't bring it back, man.
Nope.
Can't bring it back.
I still enjoy sitting on a swing set. I do.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I can't ride on a
it's not
swing
a 40.
anymore. It makes me sick after a while. It makes me kind of like
Dizzy?
motion sick.
I can do it. I can do it.
Same.
Just no more 40s. On cold nights, sitting on a park bench where I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? We're getting out.
Now you're drinking that.
Well, now you're legal. You don't have to worry. Oh, the
little
police are coming.
something.
Put that shit away, or anything.
Right. And you're still not supposed to be out
what
there
is it?
doing that. But
What is it? The danger has disappeared, so then it's no longer fun.
That might be it, or it just you don't have to be doing that shit. It's like, we don't have to do this? Why can't we just hang out and have some beers at home, or have some beers at a bar or something?
Exactly, or sit in the backyard and
something comfortable. But
Right.
no, I
Instead of
still
sitting in a
do
cold
enjoy
park
a
bench.
swing set. I do.
Yeah.
I'm fine on the swing set forever.
Right.
I actually love it. Oh yeah. I would like a playground. I'm into that, but
I don't know.
But that's
Like
not
I
it.
said, as I've gotten older, if I'm on a swing for too long, I start to feel kind of like, ooh, I have like little motion sickness. I'm kind of like,
I started feeling that too. I don't know what that is.
dude, maybe we're getting fucking Meniere's or something. I don't know.
Shit,
Oh God, please don't start saying you're getting diseases. I cannot deal with it.
I have
Yeah.
Vlecladeclia syndrome.
I have frappadappadingleitis.
No, I think Max has bucculus syndrome.
Buckulus? Who's the one drinking?
No, he did that on purpus. Buckulus.
Oh, okay. I thought he was. I'm like, this motherfucker. And we're the ones drinking.
It's a combo of dyslexia and another disease. Buckulus.
Buckulus.
Yeah, it's because you're low in.
I'm high on
Glutamate.
With a little bit of with not enough serotonin and just a little bit too much.
What is that? Is that the gay? Is that the gay one? He said serotonin.
Yes.
Well,
It is. It
serotonin.
literally
She's a
is
chick.
gay, depending on what you mean.
She's a chick. Her name is Serotonin.
Serotonin.
No. Well,
Oh God.
No, you did that so gay.
Serotonin.
serotonin.
Well, it is. It's a happy. Serotonin's the happy transmitter.
No, dopamine's the happy one.
No, dopamine's the serotonin's the well-being one, I think, and dopamine's the
I thought dopamine is pleasure or something, isn't it? Or something it
Yes.
causes.
yeah,
It's
but not
happy.
happy. No, it's pleasure. The dopamine's like dopamine.
I thought it was the happy.
Sure. So is that how dopamine sounds?
Dopamine.
Dopamine. Serotonin. The serotonin
I
is
feel
the
a little
well-being
guilty
one.
about my dopamine now.
Serotonin
Like,
is
ew.
the
Oh. Did you spark some dopamine, man?
he sounds like a pedophile.
He does.
What?
Your happy hormones. Your guide to serotonin.
Dopamine. I got dopamine now, bitch.
And then we have serotonin.
Yes, serotonin is a neurotransmitter.
Serotonin is that's the exercise instructor.
No,
okay, everybody, let's mousercise.
It is. I'm serotonin. We're gonna get toned.
By the way, to be an exercise coach,
I'm serotonin.
I got a question for you guys. Is it a prerequisite to be annoying when you're an exercise coach? I think it is.
Yes.
That is a prerequisite.
I'm thinking so.
Yeah, I hear it's almost as annoying as being when you're a physical therapist.
Yeah, because I am actually a spin instructor. So.
Hi.
Yeah, but you're not one of these. All right, everybody, let's do some squats.
I don't know. Maybe she is. I think that's what she's trying to say.
No, not at all. No,
all right,
I don't do that. No,
you don't do all that shit. I know you don't.
Very military. But no, I've worked with here. But you know what? You're right though, because actually, now that I say it, and I'm getting myself out of the conversation.
Yeah, you used to work at a gym. You should know.
I did. So
distracting herself out of the conversation.
I'm getting myself out of it. I worked for 20 years. I worked in health clubs, and you're right. A lot of them are annoying, and I couldn't take their classes. But there are some that are just basically very good. But you're right. It's in the minority. I don't know why it is. Like they have to make it fun that, all right, we're going to do some sprints. Yay.
It's the tone.
Well,
it's the tone
what it is the fact that none of us really want to go to the gym. Who really wants to go to the gym, right?
Yeah, well, I like working out, man. I like getting on the treadmill and doing my shit. You know?
Yeah, but do you ever push yourself further than that? Or are you kind of in a state of...
I didn't have this fucking wound. Fuck yeah, I was. I was always coming. I mean, you know, I was always sweating when I was done. I was like, damn.
No, but he's talking about the point because I know where he's going with. It's like, come on, you can do it.
Oh, that kind of shit. Like, so if I get too tired, would I go, no, fuck it, man, we got to do this? Well, you know, when I was a fat fuck and I was first starting, I would push myself sometimes. Come on, man.
Did you want to go though? Really?
Didn't want to, but I knew I had to.
All right. So
but I don't need fucking. I don't need jazzercise to fucking help me do it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need serotonin I think that they thought that that's what was necessary. Like, okay, I know you don't want to be here, so let me jazz you up and make you enthusiastic to actually be here.
That way,
and it doesn't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I think that's what their thinking pattern was. Is that they were trying to enthuse you.
Oh, a lot of them, they look good and they don't have credentials, because what I'll tell you is if you understand how it works with the body, actually pushing harder, you know, having a little bit of somebody, you know, you want to be fair. You don't want to be like, you know, brutalizing people, but you can't be all like chipper and yay, we're going to climb a hill now. We're going to do, you know, because it actually doesn't stimulate. If you go, all right, we're climbing, this is as easy as it's getting, it's going to get tougher. And that actually brings the body, you know, into the performance better. Same thing with the music. You can't have like, you know, I don't know, Whitney Houston.
Spice Girls, yeah.
Yeah, Spice
Tell
Girls.
Me what you want, what you really want.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff that people are, you know, when I would do classes, they're like, do you actually listen to that? I said, no, this is what I use when I'm in class, because there's a huge psychological component to it. Even when you're working on people, massaging them before events, you don't want to have anything mellow. You want to have things that are going to rev them up and just get their body going. And the last thing you want to do is be chipper.
Louie and cruise control. I think you guys know a very a way to relate to this. And all I want to say is touchdown every morning. Night and day. There was at Camp Bloomfield, they made us do something called chicken fat.
Yes, I did that.
I don't remember there being chicken fat at EHC, was it?
No, I did it in school.
In school, they made you do it? No, touchdown every morning.
And then it'd do the background. Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. He did have a backup, didn't he? Not just now and then.
And looking back on it, knowing what I know now, they were such pointless exercises.
And it was like right before breakfast. Like, do some push-ups before breakfast. Do some fucking jumping jacks. What?
You did 10 push-ups, and then you did like with the little twists with your torso, and you did the it was so stupid. Like none of it. No, you can't.
Then they did the marching. Remember the march?
The marching.
Yeah, we hated it. We was like, oh,
fucking chicken fat. And you know what? Everybody would be wearing at Bloomfield. They made us wear these metal name tags that we pinned to our shirts. So you just hear all these name tags in unison just go. Like hit the slab when everybody was doing their push-ups. Remember that
shit? Yeah, I do remember that.
I don't know if you saw. Maybe you didn't see. You probably didn't see this, Max. But there's a Bloomfield page on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this person's watching this, but there's a person that you might remember him too, Louie. I don't want to. Maybe I shouldn't say his name, but I'll just
should we say quiet?
Yes,
him.
Stop it.
Yeah, because another buddy of ours,
he's looking for you, dude.
Oh, wait, no, he actually put my name out there.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's what Dwayne was talking about.
He said, my really good friend.
Hell no. No.
I don't know if you know this guy, but
he's a total bleatard. Let's just put it that way. And it's funny because
maybe we'll say his name off air. How about that?
Yeah.
Well, we know who it is.
Because I have an idea who it might be.
Stop it.
Yeah, we definitely know who
everybody, we're gonna have a good time.
And our buddy, another friend, Dwayne, he made the joke. He goes, "Hey, has so and so reached out to you yet?" And I was like, I said, "This motherfucker, man." I said he tried to reach out to me on Facebook, and I blocked him. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't have seen that post anyway because I blocked him, so I don't see anything he would post.
Really good friend.
Damn, I'm gonna have to maybe I'll have to go unblock him just so I can see the crazy.
Do you remember in the late '90s, a couple nights we actually listened to sports radio?
Oh, that fucker! He'd call in.
He used to call in because he was a diehard Lakers fan.
Oh.
And he would call in, and they knew his name. They call him Lakers E or whatever his name.
Oh wow!
And he would go, I just want to say the Lakers are gonna win the next game. And I was like, I'm like, that can't be. That can't be.
Okay. So
let's go to this post for a second, man.
Let me see if I got the initials correct. EC.
You got it.
You got it.
Get that man a Sprite 0 or where the fuck.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
But okay, now what? Tell me what the post said because now I understand. Okay, what are you saying? Has anybody talked?
And you're right. You're right about the bleachard thing.
Total bleachard. Oh God! And I used to fuck with him all the time.
Stop it!
Oh yeah, me and
put
Derek
shaving cream in his hair and so that.
Oh yeah, we tie it. Well, Derek would tie his sleeping bag to the bunk and go.
Oh,
you remember Derek, big ass Derek, and he'd go, "Come on, Eric." And Derek was just a big scary dude.
That's terrible. So wait, where would you tie it?
Let me. Hold on a second.
Tie like the bottom string.
Okay, all right, okay,
and tie it to the to the foot of the top bunk. He was on the top bunk.
Okay, all right. You
and
didn't
they
like
tie it down and go, "We're tying you down, and we're tying you down," and he'd go, "No, stop it."
You're awful.
And that was Derek. That wasn't me. I just participated.
Yeah, you said you're looking for him, and then
you were an onlooker.
Yeah,
he was just complicit.
See, here's the thing about whatever the misconception about Camp Bloomfield. I'm sure that was the same about EHC. And I know we always go back to the blindo shit, but this is just funny. Is that they always have the videos on TV? Oh, they had an Olympic weekend. And they're all singing camp songs. Camp, dude. We were some of the meanest motherfuckers to some of those kids, dude. There was one time we were all on the bus with EC, and we were all on the bus driving back from somewhere. And it was they used to do Boys Town on one bus and Girls Town on the other.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was the spoof by Weird Al Yankovic called Oreo.
Oh, it was the white stuff.
No.
It was the white
everybody
stuff.
in the bus was going, Oreo, because he had this really because he was EC was black.
Yeah, yes, I know.
It was very whitewashed. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, Rio, stop it!
And he was getting mad. Yeah, he was getting upset because he knew we were fucking with him.
Yeah.
Dude, all those. But my point is, all those. Not that we, because we were fucked up kids, but the point is that it wasn't like come to Camp Bloomfield where we're living in harmony. Hi, I'm blind. I am too. Let's be friends. It was, hi, I'm blind. Hi, I'm blind too. Oh, you're kind of fucked up.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what that is. It's because we're so used to getting lumped into that cat, like,
oh, I know, but it's just
we're all
funny.
the same. So that was our way of distinguishing ourselves from the bleatards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I saw it when I was a camp counselor, and I'm sure you did too, Koala. When you were a camp counselor, you probably saw the more high functioning blind people ganging up on the less functioning.
Some of them. And there was those goody two shoe fuckers. Like, stop making fun of him.
Don't make fun of him, bro. There were very few though, but I used to sit and listen, and I couldn't,
Yeah, that was that. So that was me, I guess. In a way, I guess I was complicit too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I actually felt
fuckers. Yeah.
I felt bad.
I was a fucker sometimes.
I felt bad for them, but I wasn't gonna be like, I'm gonna defend these guys.
I was fucked up too, but it was mainly shit that I would say to them. You know what I'm saying?
You were the silent consent.
No, I was very silent. Because because I knew what it was like to get picked on,
Yeah.
And I was actually the guy who beat up the bullies. Like I would always do that. So like at camp, I was like, I'm not gonna be like that here because
see,
I'll look like I'm like the guy who just defends everybody and
you don't want to be Captain Sabatard.
Yeah, I didn't want to do that, and I was like, but I felt bad for him because I knew what it was like to be picked on. And
so wait a minute,
you sitting back, Louie.
Yeah, I was sitting back.
Sitting back was part of the problem. You were part of the
problem.
Now, let me ask Koala. It might be a totally different dynamic with the females. Like, was that same shit going on? Like the high functioning female blind chicks?
So with the years that I went as a camper, we didn't have a lot of. No, they didn't like me because I wasn't raised around blind people. And so a lot of people weren't, it wasn't that they were low functioning. They just didn't have the social skills.
Right.
So they didn't know how to do, how to dress, how to do things that, I was taught to do as a female, just different things. And so they thought I was a snob. And so I actually was not in, I would pick out the people that I liked, but I kind of just did my thing. I was more hanging out with the staff. And I think, the year that you went there, same thing with a couple exceptions. I really just didn't blend. I hung out with you. I hung out with my brother. I hung out with, but mostly staff. Yeah. And so actually when I was working as a staff member, I could recognize that, I could see the people that I'm like, oh, actually, you can, and I was young enough that, I like,
see, that's a different,
you're a little
dynamic.
Different. See, you're very different than like, I didn't pick on anybody. Well, I didn't go as a young kid either. Oh. So,
we were teenagers when we were doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There was some teenage stuff going on. Like,
man, dude, we were
15, 16, 17,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was more of an outcast because I was just different, the staff liked me a lot, but yeah.
I only defended myself. So if somebody was picking on me, then I'd put on if it was directed at me, because then it was almost like, oh, you're treating me like a bleatard. Fuck you, I'm not.
Right, I'm going to definitely distinguish myself from the bleatards.
Yeah, I do do that.
Right.
I do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if somebody were to like try to pick up like I'm sure we've talked about this person before. Initials JS.
Yes.
He would always pick on the people that were lower than him, right? So he tried to do that.
JS.
Oh, jail.
Yes.
Yes.
Come on.
We can
Come
talk
on,
about him. 'Cause
man.
Yeah. No, yeah, we could
he won't
because
hear
he's
this
locked
in
up.
prison.
He's not gonna.
No. He doesn't. He
He's
doesn't like
what?
it.
Oh,
Like it
this
matters.
motherfucker's actually doing time. That's some real shit.
Oh,
I actually found that
Yeah.
out. But yeah, no, he was the type. You're right.
Oh
he would kind
he
of bully
definitely
people.
would. Yeah, he would.
Yeah,
definitely
and
bully people.
so, and I was used to that at school. So I was like, this dude comes up to me, I'm gonna do something, you know? And
Mhm.
and so I remember I was in the bathroom taking a piss. So it's almost like, you know, how you're kind of vulnerable at that point. You're like, oh shit. And this dude walks in, acting all crazy, like he's gonna do something. And all I told him was, don't fuck with me. You know?
Yeah,
In a real like crazy tone, you know, like don't fuck with me.
and he didn't.
And he didn't.
No, he did because he would. He's definitely one of those. He'd be like, oh shit, fuck that, you know, because he was
Yeah.
all talk, like lots of talk, lots of you know.
Right.
Yeah, he was definitely a character. That guy.
Yeah. So, you know,
Anyway,
and those are the few times, you know, little times like that where people, you could tell that they were gonna try to act hard. Like there was this other guy, he was from Cleveland, and I'm sure he was a tough guy.
Was it?
His name was Kevin. I don't remember his last name. I only met him once too.
What this nigga wants?
He wasn't like a regular.
Speaking of, I'm sorry, man. Just switching gears real quick. Speaking of no life ass niggas, my brother's just texted me. Are you home right now? It's Saturday night. Dude. You fighting with your in-house stink box, or what the fuck you got going on there? So I had to put myself on mute just so I could text him back real quick. And I'm like, dude, we're doing our podcast. He's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Come by and bring me some fucking.
Did you tell him you don't have water to take your antibiotic?
He's gonna bring me some distilled McJesus water so I can take my antibiotic. Exactly.
Oh man.
You know, okay, that's another thing. No more on that. I appreciate that, Koala. That's good because it was. I find that when people like my brother or my mom, they'll always say, we should have probably done this for you. We should have. Okay. You know, is this a group effort? Help the bleater, help the blindo, you know, that kind of shit. But they care. You should be grateful. You know, like
I think you're being too sensitive again.
You know what? But and maybe so, but it's just like, dude, I'm 47, not 7. You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe you should share some stories about how you picked on CE.
Oh,
and her.
Well, that's it. I'm no CE, so it's like, why the fuck am I being put in? This is okay. These are the reason.
You know,
it's shit like that. Honestly, it's shit like that. That's the reason CE got picked on because of people trying to put us in the Tardo category, you know?
Right.
So, you know, and like I said,
I've seen this person on an actual bus because I grew up in LA.
Oh, that's right. You actually on a city
bus? Yeah, on like a city bus, like something like that.
Oh,
and
wow.
He made me so mad because I didn't even know it was him at first, right? And he gets off the bus, and this is the first thing he says to everybody. Can somebody help me with my bags?
Oh, hell no. Really?
What?
Oh, God. And the fact that
help you how? How'd you get him on the bus?
That's
exactly. So my thing is, if you don't have the dexterity or the willpower or the enablement to be able to carry your own bags from the grocery store or whatever the heck he was doing to your home, then don't take the bus. Like,
exactly.
Get somebody to drive you or whatever.
Or take Uber or something. I don't know. Shit.
And all I was thinking was, God dang it, he's making us look stupid right now.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's that kind of shit. And that's why we get, it's always the lowest common denominator. And I'm sorry, but your family can always be the worst offender. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, it was the same thing when COVID was going on. He was all, same thing. I was out at the bar one night and he's texting me, are you home right now? I'm like, dude, it's 9:00 on a Saturday night. What do you think I'm doing? Sitting at home, fucking listening to my fucking Christian music and reading the Bible?
Hey, not you. No.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm out here getting fucked up, hopefully trying to get my dick sucked. But no, bro, I'm not. Well, I bought you some fucking
hopefully by a girl that has both sides of her mouth working, right?
Right. It does affect the process, you know.
Yes, the process or the prostate.
Maybe both.
So anyway, I'm like, dude, I'm out at the bar. It's Saturday night. What are you doing? Buying fucking vitamin C pills for the fucking stand to happen? You know what the fuck? So it's just that it's that shit all the time. You know, like I need to look out for my blind brother. You know, like what the fuck, man? Come on, dude.
What if he just wants to hang out with you? I mean, golly, man.
Nah, man, I think he was just, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what his problem was.
Well, that's the point. You don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Right, exactly. I'm like, man.
You just jump to the conclusion, oh, he's just feeling sorry for me because he thinks I'm at home doing nothing. Oh, this guy, he's so...
That's interesting. Okay.
All those little things.
You guys bring a good point to this. Hold up. Yeah, okay.
Maybe he could just be like, hey, what are you doing right now? Because I want to hang out with you.
Yeah, maybe he's at home doing nothing on a Saturday night.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's the case. That's probably why he's calling me.
Right,
he's probably fighting with his in-house stink box, but that's
okay. So he's not looking out. He's not looking out for you. He's looking out for himself.
Well, it's like, but here's the thing, man. If you're in a situation where you're unhappy, get the fuck out of there. You know, you don't stay with somebody because it's like I said. That's why I call it in-house stink box.
Wait a minute.
All right, what up?
Didn't you have a few years with
an in-house stink box?
Oh no, they never lived with me. They never lived with me. Just so you know.
They were outhouse stink box.
Yeah, but it was stink box. You're right. It was stink box.
It smelled worse.
It was stink box.
You had to keep it outside because it wasn't good in the house.
That was good.
Taking off your
you
shoes.
know what? No, you got me on that. You're right. There was a period where I was like, what the fuck are you? Right.
Yeah.
But you learned.
I did. Well, that's the point. I learned, and I ain't gonna do some shit like that again.
But you're right. You're making that assumption, like, well, what is he doing? Just call me. Maybe he just wants to see. Maybe you could actually pick up your phone, or maybe that's why he's texting you, didn't call you because he knew you might be out. And you could just retext him.
Well, I didn't. He did call first, and I didn't answer, obviously. But then he texted me, "Are you home right now?" And I'm like, "Fuck." So then I put it on mute, and I said, "We're doing our podcast." He's like, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow." And I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna have lunch tomorrow. That's the point. Why you got to call me now?"
Sorry.
Maybe he's looking for love from his brother. Golly, man.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go again.
Wow. I know you're all about that. I know you're all about that masculinity.
Wait, what'd you say? I'm all about the what? What'd you say, man?
Masculinity.
Oh, be a man. Be a man. Be a man. Stand up on your own too, motherfucker. No. It's for me. It's different, man. Because
me and my brother don't share love. What the hell is that?
No. You know what? It has nothing to do with that. And Cruise Control will tell you, him and I are very different. And so we've had some difficulties, you know.
I mean, you guys have always been different from what I've known about you guys.
Oh, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. We're very different people. And because of it, you know, we used to bump heads a lot. And you know, Cruise Control used to, matter of fact, every time we get in an argument, his thing would go, another adventure of the oversensitive brothers.
I know.
Just always crack on us when we get into it.
What I said? I don't remember saying that.
It's still going on. Oversensitive brother.
Yeah, it's the show's still running.
Texting or calling me Saturday night.
We're in
Then
season 35.
The next time he calls you, why is this motherfucker calling me or texting me? It's Tuesday morning. This motherfucker calls me, texting me. It's Thursday afternoon.
Well, you know, you know how it is with timing sometimes, you know. But
no, it's almost like why does he call or text at all?
Well,
stay out of my life.
Here's what's crazy. Like he could have texted like this afternoon. Matter of fact, I was sitting around. I was kind of bored.
So he has to know.
So he has to text you.
Well, you know, people have to know. You know, it's that wrong time shit. You know, like call me at the right time. Shit.
Call me at the right time.
I think there's an app that people have on their phone called the annoying nigga app. Like, you know, when they know it's the most annoying.
If they don't have
call.
one, it should be one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an app.
He just had a question for you.
So, Max, when is the correct time that I can text you about asking about the show?
Yeah, seriously, because now we're all going to be
Is it
concerned about
12 o'clock your time or 12 o'clock my time? What the hell?
No,
Does
it's
it
just
change?
it's just the way shit is sometimes. It's like, my other roommate used to get mad about that. Not Slade, but this guy Henry, who we used to get mad when we were like, okay, how come when we're sitting on our ass and we want a phone call, we don't get any? But then all of a sudden we start doing shit and we start getting phone calls or texts and shit.
Well, it does work out. It kind of does work that way too.
it. Does that's the same
And
thing
it has
about-
nothing to do with the person themselves. It just has to do with the way shit's going. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the actual person. But I'm just kind of being a fuckhead because it's fun.
It's fun.
Fun to be a fuckhead.
Yeah.
Fun to be a fuckhead. It's not. It's definitely. It's definitely
Fun
not
to be a
The
fuckhead.
first step to recovery is admitting
you have a problem.
The minute you're an asshole, yeah.
yes.
Oh, I've known that for years, man. That ain't nothing new.
I've known that for.
That
I've
ain't
got a
nothing new.
term with
I'm a
that
dick.
years ago.
Oh, so
Like,
so
I'm
have
very
I.
comfortable
So
with
have
stuff.
I.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
know my
yeah.
dicketry.
Yeah, I do. I do too.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm the God. Why doesn't everybody? What's going on? Where is? Is everybody okay?
Fun to be a fuckhead.
I don't know.
Is
I
that
think-
going to be
I
like
think
a
you-
Broadway
No,
musical?
I've got my ass on.
wait.
No,
What's it called?
yeah,
Born to
that's
be a
what I'm
fuckhead?
saying.
Fun to be a fuckhead.
Fun
I
to be-
feel like that could be a musical.
Dude, it
You know,
could. It could.
we could-
I'm fun to be a fuckhead. It's fun to be a fuckhead.
I see possibilities.
And here's, all right, and this actually this is great because it works into other shit too. Because you can't I don't know about you guys, but I had a certain idea of things we might cover tonight, whatever. And obviously, it never works that way. And that's the point. And this is the thing. This is why I get so upset sometimes where, I know I've had stuff, let's say just with my boss, where she wants to know, like, well, what are you going to say to these people when you go out and do this outreach? What are you going to, you don't fucking know. You don't know who the audience is. You don't, it's like some people need a script to take a shit. You're like, I think I sit on the toilet first, then pull my pants down and shit. What? You can't do that. I mean, it's like life just happens. You got to be able to improvise. You got to be able to fly by the seat of your pants, and you can't just have this rigid fucking script in your head. That you're gonna do because you're not gonna. You may not follow it.
And it never works out anyway. Like you have the script. Like I'll tell you one thing in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
I have this idea of what I'm thinking the meeting's going to be about. The counseling session is going to be about,
and it's totally different, huh?
And the client makes it talking about a totally different thing. I'm like, wow, I wasn't even ready for that. All right,
right. Exactly. That's my point. That's my point. It's like that stupid question they ask you: where do you see yourself in 10 years? You don't know. You don't know where the fuck you're going to be in 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's no right answer to it, and it's very true. Cause like I see people, and I've done this myself, where when I go into my sessions and sometimes somebody like, this cropped up. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That tells me something that we didn't know last time. We've got to treat that. Or when I go into acupuncture, how you doing? And I'm like, I'm not doing well, and this is what's happening, and it totally derails it, so you have to just be on your toes.
Exactly. You got to be ready. That's I think a good therapist, where you're like, oh shit, okay, all right, let's do this. So we didn't know that was going to happen.
Right.
Whereas if you have this set idea how it's going to go, it's not going to go anything like you thought.
Well, and I always think that, and this follows more to medical stuff, but also to life. Patient doesn't fit the protocol. Protocol has to fit the patient. So you have to always kind of go, well, that's interesting. Wonder why that happened. Right. And it's the same, I think, with entertainment, even with public speaking, because you got to just be like, oh shit, I didn't know you had that question. I wasn't prepared. I didn't
write down the possible rebuttal in case somebody asked that,
I have my improv, even with something like I have my improv workshop tomorrow, that Sunday workshop. And at first I was like, okay, I was writing down like games to play and stuff like that and stuff to do. And then now I don't even bother because I don't know how many people are going to be there. I don't know what kind of person's going to be there. It's going to be all regulars. If it's all regulars, what games do I play? Do I play the same old games? If it's somebody new who's never done improv before, I've got to change the game so that they can feel more comfortable getting broken, not the deer in headlights shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sure, but at the same time, I think there's a flip side to this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it is being prepared.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to fly by the seat of my pants without any preparation at all. No, that's kind of dumb too. That's like stupid too. You got to have something going. Like you have an idea of what you want to say, maybe, or you kind of, you have an idea of what you're going to do,
what you're going to say, but you're not going to go write a scriptatin.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's what
like you're taking a shit. You're going to take a shit. So
let's see, do I sit on the toilet, shit, and then pull my pants down? No, wait, I wipe my ass first, then pull my pants down.
Well, you know that's what you're going to do at least. You're going to do that.
Well,
you can't just go in and go,
take care of that.
How the shit's going to go.
Well, and honestly,
right.
And hey, cruise control. Remember we used to do the little stand-up open mic shits for a while we used to go to? And I think that what turned us off to that, well, at least for me, is I wasn't into writing jokes because I didn't know how the fuck people might respond, you know what I mean, to stuff. So I couldn't say, well, insert laugh here because maybe they wouldn't laugh. And then if they didn't, you're like, well, shit, I was going to think there was a laugh there. And it's like, you can't do that. We just got to go on and let it roll, Well,
I think, that's why people are more geared toward improv. Like I'm not,
we're just, we're wired that way.
What those people do is they go over and over and over. The good comics, they go to different comedy clubs over and over and over with their material. And if it doesn't work, then they go back and rework it, and they go back
and try some other shit. Yeah,
and not try it. They try the same jokes different ways, and over and over and over. They pound like me, and that I'm like, fuck it, I'll just go in there and play some fucking.
Just let it rock.
Some musical games, That's what, but that's the same thing with acting, Some people hate that improv stuff. Some comics can't stand,
right?
Improv.
They're like, I just can't go on the fly.
And I'm sure there are some therapists and some in physical and mental who do go by a strict protocol, and it works for them, but they just modify the protocol in between, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I just find it a hindrance, and I find it's almost, to me, I look at it as a disability, doing that. But that's just me.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just, I guess you have to be flexible, but you have to have. It is kind of like an improv though, because you have to know the basics. Like
absolutely.
If you're an improviser, not to say if someone says, "Hey, Jim," and you go, "I'm not Jim.
I'm not Jim. I'm John."
Yeah, that's something you don't do.
That's funny. That shows you how long Cruise Control and I have been friends. Like we just kind of say shit and it just happens.
But the point is that even though it's improv, even though we're making stuff up, there's still grounded stuff that we have to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
As long as you have the as long as you know how to ride the bike, then you can start trying to wheelie, I guess, or whatever. So, but you have to.
And then I was thinking about therapy. Like sometimes the client doesn't have anything to say, so I'm like, well, if he doesn't have anything to say, or he or she doesn't have anything to say, then I have something that I want to do.
Right.
Like like we'll try like learning how to mindfulness meditation, stuff like that. That's stuff that I try to do to help with anxiety and stuff like that. But if they don't want to do it, then I'm like, well, I'm not going to be like, oh, we have to do it. That's just the way we do it around here.
Hey, hold on, guys. I gotta go piss. So you guys keep talking, and that's my ritual every show, man. Yes. I gotta piss.
That's the usual.
We know. We're good. But
the hour and 15-minute mark usually.
Well, no,
it ain't that long. God damn it!
It's 2 hours now. Usually it is at the hour and 15, so he's getting
bonus time.
Bonus time. But so you're right. Like you have to be able to you still have to have some kind of basics though, basic understanding of what you're doing.
For sure.
To be able to like, okay, this isn't working or this is something you just don't do or do. Although then again, it might be different a little bit with physical therapy, because it seems like I don't know, is it if someone doesn't want to do something or they're not feeling it, Koala, is it like, oh well, we're gonna go a different tack, or do you just like, no, this is what's gonna because the body's mechanical. It's mechanical more.
For sure.
Than,
It's more about if you change something, because I do a lot of, changing of the joint, and then something else comes up, and then, that wasn't bothering me before. So I can't go back and go, oh, we're going to go and look at your knee. Your foot's bothering you now. Now we have to look at your foot. So especially with athletes, one of the things that we do is we'll look at maybe, what's your foot strike? So we get them off the table and we do, so you have to actually, it makes you different between somebody who knows how to do mechanically what they do versus somebody who actually knows how to get the job done. I mean, I don't want to sound elitist, but that is what it is, because it is. It's true.
Just a humble brag. Just a humble brag. That's all.
It's a very humble brag because sometimes
confident.
it's a very confident brag because I had my mentor.
No, I understand.
Well, I had my mentor on the table and he came in, he said, it just happened to be after a seminar and he said, I can't turn my head. I can't do this. And I got him on the table and I started working with him. I'm like, okay, this is different. He's like, I know exactly what's going on. I said, no, you don't. And here's what it is, because you're on my table. We're not in the seminar anymore. And you have to trust me enough. Can you trust me enough to let me work on you? Because that's why you asked me to work on you. He said, yeah. And he kept wanting me to do protocol. And I said, nope. It's all coming from your diaphragm muscle and your serratus muscle in the shoulder. So basically, totally different things than people sometimes think. So you have to be able to jump off protocol. Right. And just actually Sherlock Holmes it, observe what's happening, not what you think is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have another little idea too. Like I guess I'm a sort of a musician. I don't claim to be a professional musician, but
hey, you're pretty dope on the keys, man.
Yeah,
I can do things on the fly. Like no matter what video did you see?
There was a video of something. I think somebody posted it like with your name attached to it on Facebook.
Oh,
it was like something that you did over, and you were at you're banging the keys. It sounded good, man.
Well, you played you played our little Camp Bloomfield thing. When we
oh
did,
yeah, that too. Yeah.
So you're dope on the keys.
I was just giving you props. It sounded good. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. So but I've been put in positions where I don't even know what the song is. Like I've never heard the song, but I'll listen to the chords and then I'll just play piano behind it, knowing what the chords are.
Oh wow.
But I have to know, like she was saying, I have to observe and listen, like, okay, what chords are they playing? Okay, they're doing that, they're doing that. Okay, I know what they're gonna do now. Okay, I got it. And because most country, pop, rock, all these different genres, they have the same kind of style of they loop things, eventually it comes back to the beginning again. Right. And you're like, okay, I know exactly where they're gonna make their moves, where they're gonna change chords and change scales. So now I'm like, all right, now I can play music behind it that sounds good. Just do it on the fly.
Well, that's it depends on the genre you're playing for and whatever vibe you're getting from it. So
but the point is that he has to have that basic understanding to be able to
improvise.
Oh yeah. You can't just go right.
We want to have the grounding, but you need to be, and I think that's why the four of us work together really well on the podcast too, is that we're flexible. Yeah. We're intelligent enough. We know our stuff, but we're very flexible to be like, oh, we're moving. This is what we're doing. Right. Nobody goes, hold up.
Wait, I wanted to talk about this.
We were going to talk.
Right. Yeah. You have one idea and you're like, wait a minute. No, it's not going to be, it's not what I thought it was. But, and I think that's why people because I always get, people will ask me, it seems like people that know us are the ones who are always like, hey man, when you guys going to do another show? So that's what it is. They prefer those more so than the interviews in a lot of cases.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it's just us bouncing ideas off of each other, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it works.
the way that's the way a lot of people do podcasts and streaming. It's people are making bucos off it, but
coming out the head.
Yeah, just they just have people start really liking them and just listening and also that's another kind of scary factor though in a way if you think about it, because it used to be that people would go out and hang out themselves with people and talk to them. Now they sit and listen to other people talking to each other without them actually being in the conversation themselves.
So they feel social just listening to other conversations, apparently.
Yeah, but it's not. But they feel like they're part of the conversation, but they really aren't. But that's kind of, but it's almost like a poor imitation of actually going out and doing it yourself. Because those,
they might be, you know, when on YouTube, you know, they comment a lot.
In the comments,
comment a lot.
There's the comment or the chat. If they're live, you can do the live chat thing.
Yeah.
Right. So
which makes it feel kind of involved, but still, it's almost like it's crazy how that works. How popular podcasts are, like Joe Rogan podcast, millions and millions of people. It's just listening to two people have a conversation when you're not in that conversation yourself.
Well, see, that's another thing. I'll hear people say
that's what you got to do, man. You got to call yourself Cruise Rogan.
Cruise Rogan. Well, you know, and that's it's one of those where people will say that was the big thing when I used to go to that Las Vegas podcasters group, and people would say, "Well, I want to do my podcast, but I'm not really sure what I want to say yet. I'm not really sure." And it's like, dude, just turn your mic on and roll, bro. What are you passionate about? What's your, what's your shit? You know, what's something that can keep you talking, that keeps you, rolling for, some period of time. So, and it doesn't have to be
the whole idea. That goes back to the whole idea of being prepared versus being able to do things on the fly. I think some people are so scared that they're like, I need to be prepared with everything. I need to know exactly what I'm going to say, when I'm going to say it, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's those people that need a script to take a shit. I told you.
Yeah. Right.
There was a situation. I remember with my ex, with my ex, when we did the show back in the day, we actually had somebody come in live. And this person brought in a whole script that they wrote up, and it had like the parts of what they wanted the radio show host to say, what they wanted them. It was like this whole written out, like this person pretty much wrote out what they wanted the show to do.
You know what I would have told them? I would have told them, I'm blind, I can't read that shit.
Well, that's funny. That's what my girlfriend at the time told her. She was like, I'm sorry, but my boyfriend's blind. He's not going to be able to do that. And she was just like, "Oh, see," but that's the you try to start.
That's when you have your Braille script of how you're going to take a shit, and you have her read.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, here you go.
Like, I got to go in here. Can you help me with this?
Yeah, write my script on how to take a shit.
Can you help me with my bags?
Can you help me with my bags?
Stop it!
Stop it!
Yeah, that's how it is. Damn, y'all. Well, hey, anybody else got anything?
Anybody else got stuff? I went. You guys psychoanalyze. You guys shrunk wrap me.
You guys shrunk wrap me too. Well, maybe not shrunk. Maybe health wrapped. I don't know what. Well, no, you shrink wrap me a little bit too on some other shit.
But it definitely is interesting. I have an observation about it. Is that I feel better about, I don't know, I feel like better about things just talking to other people about it like this. That's why I think there is definitely a strength in group support groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where talk to people about because you've been through, obviously, Koala's been through.
Well, here's the thing: if you're bouncing ideas off yourself, it's just going to be circular, and you're going to second guess it and all kinds of shit. Where you start bouncing it off other people, they're going to give you some other insight, that you didn't necessarily have. So yeah, that's
another thing that I was thinking of. Do you have a support group for your alcohol recovery? It doesn't necessarily have to be Alcoholics Anonymous or something like that, but some kind of support system going on. Do you have something like that?
Not really. I was actually thinking
Think
about
you
it
need to
more.
follow your own advice, then, bro.
Well, I was actually thinking about it not for that, because that's not really that hard. I mean,
But
like,
you're talking about grief support, maybe?
maybe
Yeah.
some more grief support or something like that. Because
Yeah,
honestly,
for sure.
I'm kind of surprised.
Do they offer it out in I know in sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm sure every
Do
city
they
has.
because I know they usually with hospice will offer you 8 weeks of grief support if you're willing to take it. You just have to make sure you get the right counselor.
Yeah, he didn't get. He didn't.
Well, even if there's a hospice out that way, out where you're at, I'm sure they
No,
can.
you know, they don't have to have gone through hospice. It's
Right.
it's a service you get for losing a relative. You can ask for it. I don't know out where you are if they do it.
Yeah.
But it's very valuable. The one thing I would say is the first person I got, it was just canned bullshit, and I tried 2 sessions. But the second one I got was amazing, and it took me a year to decide that I really needed it, and I just had to have the right person. So investigate that, because I think they do have it for grief counseling. It's just if you
group where just people just meet
well,
up.
even a Facebook
they
group
have
might
groups
be good.
too.
I'm sure there's a Facebook
too.
group that's like grief support or something. Like you could probably just find a group on Facebook, that might obviously nobody else is going to see your shit except for the group people in the group.
Well, I don't know. I'd like to be around people. I think that's part of the thing.
All right, that might be your shit, man. You might.
Well, they had it out here with the group. I don't do group, so for me, I had to have one-on-one.
Yeah,
because I'm an introvert. So
just whatever works for you.
But they did have it out here. I don't know if they have it where you are, but it'd be something to investigate, because it's a free service and it can be really helpful, and just have just to get through what you need to.
Yep. Because I think my mom went through that when my grandmother died. They had her going. It was the actual hospice that my grandmother was going to, or was working with, whatever. And they offered grief counseling to the family, for a specific. But I mean, I'm sure there's something, dude. Check a Facebook group, or maybe there's an online community. Man, dude, there's so much shit out there now.
It's crazy though, but even right now, I mean, it's amazing how open I've been online to now with all this here, just talking about, especially with alcohol and with grief and stuff like that.
Well, these are things
I used to be like, oh, I would never talk about this shit,
Yeah.
Like
well,
online, but I mean, they have an alias, but people who most likely would know who I am. But but the funny thing is, like speaking of that though, Louie, about alcohol, is the funny thing about the last couple of times I've drank. I felt so fucking terrible the next day that I don't like the idea of having a couple beers. Like, it's like, oh yeah, cool, I have a couple beers and relax. And then I think about the next day and my stomach just goes, oh, no. No.
Well, that's kind of good though, because obviously
that's my point. It is good. It's good, but it's like, so I'm not really concerned about that. Like, I don't have a desire to, I mean, the consequences now, I mean, it's like I wake up with anxiety, like massive panic, like, oh fuck, fucking like they call it hangxiety.
Oh, after hangover, yeah.
Yeah, hangxiety is their term for it, and it's actually a clinical thing. Like because your cortisol levels are shots to the roof, basically.
Shoots up, yeah.
Yeah, it shoots up massively. It's like it's the rebound effect. But it's just funny how that's not my, like, I'm not like going, oh man, God, I don't, because I know it's like, it's more like I just want, I think I need to process more of the other stuff a little bit, maybe a little better,
Yeah. Well, what's going on? Yeah.
Like the the whole,
and it could be your mindset of what all is happening with you right now. Like, sometimes you don't want to drink when you're unhappy. It's the worst fucking time to be drinking.
Yeah. Well, it's terrible for it in a lot of ways, but
yeah.
So
absolutely.
I don't know. But that's just like, it's interesting how that works though. How you can be so, like, I guess maybe it's a fear, I guess. Like, oh God, I don't want to feel like that. Do you get a lot of that? Is that something that happens a lot? I don't know. Or is it like a common thing where it just gets to the point where just you realize that the consequences are so fucking are bad for you that you're just like, nah, I'm totally turned off by it.
Well, that's and that can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about like it's what they call like taste aversion. Like if you eat something that
makes you
maybe
sick
causes
or
makes you throw up. Like I remember me with raisins, and I bet you it probably wasn't even the raisins, but I blamed it on the raisins. I was like 5 years old. I ate some raisins. I threw up right after, and I said, "No raisins for me." And I didn't eat raisins for like freaking 30 years.
Damn. Well,
and then I tried them again. Like, let's try this again. That's probably not even the case. Like, I didn't throw up because of the raisins. I probably threw up because I was already sick of
right. But it just
else,
reminded you because that was what you threw up. You're like, oh fuck, I'm never eating raisins again. It's just that
so
thing.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with alcohol. There's and I can't think of the name of it right now. But it's actually something that people end up taking, especially if they're severe alcoholics on recovery.
Oh, that makes them throw up, right?
It makes you throw up. Yeah.
Yeah. There is some kind of
feel sick.
There is some kind of every time they drink,
off the top of my head.
Yep. I forget. It's not. I want to say Epicac, but that's not right. It's some other shit.
No, it's a different one.
Yeah.
Well, because it pulls you down
Yeah.
into the comfortable depressive. And then when you come off it, your brain ramps up.
Oh.
And so you go into the anxiety because all of a sudden you're out of the depressive. Yep. And that's why it's so uncomfortable and so dangerous. Not so much for people that, have a couple drinks, but maybe it's something you anticipate.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. But I know for severe alcoholics, that's why they when they have to haul them in, take them to jail or anything like that, they have to give them a little bit of alcohol because it's dangerous. Your body actually goes into a hyper state. And so
those are the people that are drinking the rubbing alcohol and shit like that,
Well, no, they could just be consciously or constantly drinking.
Oh yeah.
And it's scary. I've had a lot of people I know, a lot of friends actually, that they just quit. I said, you know what? It doesn't work for me anymore. That's why I don't smoke pot. It doesn't work for me anymore. It just started making me go into anxiety. And so whenever something's not working for you,
stop it. Yeah.
Recognize it.
And I think I should give myself.
No, you got to say it in that other voice. Stop it!
Stop it!
Stop it!
You gotta have CE as your counselor, man.
And I think it's also
had something there.
Yeah. Stop it!
Damn.
Like I was thinking about before. I was talking about trying to fix things and all that. Well, think about what I in a way I've got to like take a little perspective too, and I've literally quit something I've been doing for years at the same time as having a traumatic situation happen to me. So it's like a combo intersection thing.
Well, and obviously you used it to cope at some point, right? So obviously now you're in a severe situation and you don't want it. You're almost like, no, man, no, it's not. So that's actually pretty good, I think.
Yeah, but can also be, well, what do you think, Louie?
Well, I think that I honestly feel like you should get therapy. And the only reason why I say that is because that's what I do what's called aftercare. Mm-hmm. It's basically when the person's already gone through the rehab and they've gone through all the, they've pretty much detoxed and everything, did all that. And then I say, okay, now we look at how are we going to work through life without alcohol or without whatever your drug of choice is.
Oh yeah.
How are we going to work through life? What are we going to do? Life always throws people curveballs. So how are we going to deal with the shit that happens when it happens?
Right.
We're not going to try and turn to our drug again. Yeah. If you have a bad day, the normal idea is, oh, I need to go turn to my drug. Well, let's not do that because that's not what you want to do anymore. So what are we going to do now? And I'm sure that a therapist there would actually work with you and be like, hey, let's figure out what you can do otherwise. And I mean, I think you already have some good ideas. You're putting a lot of your you're a lot of you're all into doing the improv stuff. But if you have way too much time on your hands to reflect, that's when it gets a little shitty because it's like,
and I still do have a lot of time on my hands.
Too much time to think. Got to keep yourself busy, man.
Yep.
You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Even when you don't want to, when you're feeling not motivated, like, fuck, I don't want to do. Sometimes you got to push yourself, It's just what it is, dude.
That's true.
So
that's true. Group therapy, baby.
Damn right.
Yeah.
And that's what this was.
I appreciate you guys.
Hell yeah, man.
No.
Oh dear.
All right. Before you start getting weird.
No. I'm not gonna start crying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, fucksters. This has been the
fucksters. This has not been buttfuckulous. It's been
no, this is not buttfuckulous at all. One of the few buttfuckulous things,
It's definitely been good.
This has been the Nothing Sacred drink wrap for June 24th. Well, June 25th technically is when the bitch goes up.
Yeah.
When the bitch goes up.
When the bitch goes up.
When this bitch goes up.
It's a tough bitch.
Okay,
bitch.
as long as it's a tough bitch, I'm okay.
You got some in-house stink box.
Not an outhouse stink box.
On that note, fuckers, I'm Maxwell Silverhammer.
I am Cruise Control.
I'm Louie Loke.
I'm Koala.
And together, and that's the story.
The story
there,
bitches.
See ya. We might have been a little off, but fuck it.
We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred. We are nothing sacred.
With Maxwell Silverhammer.
We are nothing sacred. With cruise control. We are nothing sacred.